Welcome everybody to another episode of the Channel 135 podcast, the podcast where we talk about our favorite things in life, movies, TV shows, and pop culture. I'm your host Cams, and I'm here with the Uso, all the way from Glen Eden. Filipo, how's it going, man?
Yeah, good bro. Hey, really appreciate it. Really appreciate the time to come on and I guess just talk some really cool things. And it's been a long time coming. The amount of like false starts we had, but hey, tonight's the night. Let's do this.
And there's these random times that I'm just busy relaxing, watching the Counties Manukau versus Wellington quarterfinal. Then I get a text on my phone. Oh, you're like, oh, I'm free. It's still pod. And I'm like, yo, let's do it. Let's do it now. Let's do it. I'm free, man. I'm free. Need some content up in here, man. Need some content.
Yeah, man.
100. But nah, it's all good because, man, I put this up on our chat like ages ago, like some topics we could do. Because after we did our X-Men draft episode, we had a lot of fun doing that, man. So
yeah.
So I kind of like said, okay, let's do some more drafts. Let's figure out some topics we can do, because we can do pretty much anything to do with drafting movies or drafting actors or whatever the topic may be. So I threw up on the chat, maybe we could do like a African American black movie draft.
Yeah,
since we watched a whole bunch of them back in the 90s and even now. But yeah, man, that was one of the topics I put forward there.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like that genre because it gives me that nostalgia of me growing up. So, like every good thing, you're a kid growing up in the 90s, and the only people that you ever see on TV were what was coming from the US. They sort of looked like us, so they were people that I aspired to sound like. Even like back then. So yeah, I reckon this is a lot of fun. I really like it. It resonates a lot with me because it brings back a lot of sort of those nostalgic memories, growing up and, in my formative years.
Yeah, that's right, man. And you're absolutely right. Because when I looked at my list, when we were doing my research the last hour, just trying to figure out, okay, what's Filipo going to pick? Or am I going to pick one that he doesn't know? But man, a lot of my movies are in the 90s, man. And I think it's because that time in New Zealand, especially our West Auckland, like for us Pacific Islanders living here, like this is before like the poly kind of movement, the brown movement happened in our culture here, in urban kind of life, like we hadn't had Jamo Jam yet, we hadn't had Purest Form yet. And
absolutely.
If you think about it, these bands, or they're influenced by what we were watching on TV, hip hop, R&B in the 80s, coming up in the 80s,
totally.
Jodeci and all that kind of stuff, Boyz II Men. And then the movies we were watching, because R&B and hip hop played a part in them. We watched all these African American films that came out back in the day, especially the hood,
man.
Especially the hood movies like Boys in the Hood and all that kind of stuff, because those resonated with us, being in urban street kind of stuff,
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's that whole like looks like not necessarily completely looks like us, but like we resonate with a lot of the stories that come through. I mean, I can't say that I resonate with growing up in a gang or anything like that. No, but it's that kind of escapism. Like it's around you and you can relate to it because it's something that's in in the environment that you're a part of.
Yeah, that's right. And the language too, the language, the hip hop language. Like the slang and all that. We were into all that kind of stuff. It was kind of really cool.
Yeah. It was really appealing, I think.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. It was definitely was. And it resonated the hell out of us back then. And then sort of, like I was saying, like it sort of influenced. It was kind of like our turn to have a version of that. That's why Purest Form came out, and that's why Jamo Jam started coming out. And
oh man, do you remember Culture?
And Culture in Australia.
Yeah.
Those guys in Australia, they were doing it too.
Absolutely.
Which leads to sort of like movies like acting, like Oscar and those guys when they did Sioni's Wedding.
Yeah.
The big influence there, and
I think so. And you can see those influences in that movie,
Yeah.
Like what's the biggest one I can think of was what's his face? The one that was on the phone dating line all the time. Sepha. Oh, not Sepha. Is it Sepha?
Oh.
No, not. Anyway, you know which one I'm talking about. He's the Tukalau one. Anyway, so that kind of thing. He's on the phone. He's like, "Hey yo, what's up? This is Tariq." Like, where else are you? Like, seriously, that if that ain't influence, I don't know what is.
That character, yeah, he was. I think it was. Oh, yeah, I can't remember his name too. But that character, he was influenced by hip hop culture.
100%.
He was seeing. Remember, you seen those girls at the club, and he was imagining what they look like, and they're like hip hop, like kind of the girls in the MTV videos.
Absolutely. Yeah, they're hitting up like, yeah, especially the ones he would meet up with, and the way that they were talking to him, and like, oh hell,
yeah, man. So, yeah, man, this is a good topic to do because, like we were talking about, like influence what we were watching back then, and like I was saying, looking at my list, most of them are all in the 90s, and that's pretty much me growing up into these kind of films. Like, there wasn't any streaming back then, but there were radio stores, and I guess we were hiring them out every single week or every time, again and again and again. And if they came on TV, we would record them and just watch them again and again, rewatch them all the time. Man, next minute, we know the words hard out.
It became a part of like everyday language, eh? You'd go to school and you'd be going back and forth with your friends over, using those same lines on each other.
Yeah. Oh, that was the best when you watch a movie and you go to school and you talk to your mates about the movie, and like we're acting out the scenes and stuff like that. Like, oh gosh, man! Like,
oh man!
And next minute, some of the lines will be part of the language at school, way. Like,
exactly. Yeah. No.
So yeah,
it's
man.
cringe when I think about it now, but back then I just what else was there?
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just thinking right now, like, what's the state of African American movies right now? Like, obviously it's for a new generation, but for us, I think there's a lot of hit and miss now, eh?
Yeah, I think so. So. It's hard to sort of put my finger on it, like where the issue is. Well, not the issue, but I think where they're missing, because you can see it when you watch it, but you can't necessarily put your finger on it and say like, oh no, this is where I think they're missing the mark. There'll be a few of them come to mind. Like, actually no, because we're going away from the topic here, mate. Come on now. This is a draft, okay?
I thought you were going to say the latest White Man Can't Jump, the remake one.
Is that even a black movie?
Is that a series or a movie? That's a movie.
That's a movie. I don't even know if it's a movie or more or less. I don't know.
Yeah. It feels like it shouldn't be that way, because now we're in 2024. There's got to be a lot of there's a lot of African American directors and writers and producers now, in the movies.
Yeah, totally.
So now now we're seeing making their own movies, telling their own stories. So it's sort of thing now, eh?
Yeah, I feel like maybe it's because we've sort of, I don't know, for ourselves as Polynesians, that maybe it's because for ourselves we have our own genre of movie and of TV series and content that's being put out now, that we've sort of moved away from, that we've actually found our identity now in 2024, that we sort of moved away from it. So I think this is just me thinking off the top of my head now, like maybe that's why we don't resonate as much as we did maybe when for yourself and I, old fellas in our 40s, wouldn't resonate as much as others would today with black movies. Maybe just a thought.
It's interesting you said that, because I think we're going to find some of these answers to our questions when we do this list of stuff, because there's one movie I picked that comes to mind that sort of touches on that sort of thing. So yeah.
Okay.
We'll get in. Yeah.
Oh no! Oh,
Okay.
No! I don't want to hamstring myself.
Okay, Filipo. It's just us two. We're gonna do this Black American movie draft. We got some categories. So the categories are: we've got comedy, we've got sports, we got hood, which is hood movies, drama,
hood/gangster, yeah,
hood/gangster, yep.
Okay, cool.
Drama, true story, documentary, hidden gems, and the bin. Now you brought up the bin. That's a pretty cool one. So that's a trash movie that we thought. Hey man.
No. Yeah, at the bottom. This is those $1 the $1 hires at Video Easy. You know, the $1 weekly hires.
Okay, so the rules are we're gonna spin the wheel to see who picks first. So this is a draft, just like the NBA draft, NFL draft in the States.
Sweet.
You can pick your first movie and you can put it in any category, in any order. Just like we did the X-Men draft. So you don't have to. We're not putting the categories in order. You just pick a movie and put it in that category, and then and you only get one movie per category. Eight categories, so 8 movies.
Okay, cool. Okay,
8 movies. Your movie has to have black actors, the main actors, and be about the Black American experience or anything about African Americans.
Okay. Okay, I got my first pick. Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh no. Sorry. No, I'm gonna go straight hood. I'm gonna go hood.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna go hood. And this is a movie. I think I remember clearly because I remember seeing it when I was in primary school. I was in primary school. It was 1991. And it was one of those first. It was probably one of the first black gangster movies I'd ever seen. It's one of those ones where it was a story of a kid who was who was sent from his mother to live with his father who lived in the hood. And amongst them there were and the kids. He became friends with the kids across the road, the family across the road. One was a drug dealer. One was an aspiring superstar. And the other one was a paraplegic, I think. Anyway, if you've missed it, if you've sort of picked up on what I'm talking about, the movie is Boys in the Hood, starring the likes of Cuba Gooding Jr. and Ice Cube and Lawrence Fishburne. I think that is it reminds me one of the scenes that comes to mind is where Ricky has got a scout come over to his house, and he's like showing him through his highlights. He goes, "Oh man, you got a really good highlight reel." And then this little boy runs across the room naked. And he's like, "Oh, is that your little brother?" He's like, "Nah, that's my son." Yeah. At the time, it didn't really sort of click until I grew up later on and watched it again. I'm like, "Oh shucks, this guy, damn, this guy's a teenage fuck. Damn, what's going on here?" So that's mine. Hood
That's
movie,
a good pick.
Lock it in. Yeah, Boys in the Hood.
That's a good pick because Boys in the Hood pretty much was the first hood movie to come out, and went commercial. That made a lot of money. Went around the world because I think that's John Singleton's first movie. He came out straight out of film school, and he sort of wrote the script for it. Yeah, he came straight out of film school. He wrote the script, and somehow made a deal with Universal. I think it was. I forgot what the distributor was, but the deal was that they can't buy the script off him because they love the script. He wouldn't sell it to them unless he directed them himself. So they gave him that, and it's like, man, how this guy just came out of school. He's got a good script. You're a big studio, and he has a demand. I won't sell it to you unless I'll be the director, and you give it to him.
Yeah.
That's like whoa. That's like whoa. That's a powerful way.
It's crazy.
It is crazy, and he's the first, and sort of he's credited to be the first African American writer and director to make a movie based on what's happening in his neighborhood or in the hood. That's sort of told the truth.
Yeah,
to the rest of the world. Before that, you had Colors. I think it was Colors that was my first sort of introduction into gang life in LA and the Crips and the Bloods.
Yep.
But that was done by a white person, I think. Yeah,
I wouldn't have a clue.
Yeah.
But I think with Colors, I think that was told from a cop's point of view, right?
That's right.
Where it was like I get it, but still it's from you're not really giving all you're giving is like a window, but the windows you're using the eyes of like a white cop to tell that story. It's a bit sad. Just going back to Boys in the Hood, you're saying the reason why it was so successful is because it was relatable. You have the what was it, the mum that's like a crack addict that whose kids are running riot kind of thing. It wasn't worried about it because it's worried about her next hit. There is in the whole the whole culture of gang retaliation, of drive-by shootings. That was a real thing. It still is a real thing. And the whole story around how what's his face? How Ice Cube's character ends up, Doughboy. He goes, they shoot his brother. Oh, was it over like him calling someone a bitch?
Mm.
And then brother gets shot. Doughboy goes out, shoots those guys, and then a week later, what happens? He gets shot himself.
Mm.
He ends up getting killed himself. So, and that's a real thing. It's like real life. That's why people would have resonated with it. I think it's the same way that Once Were Warriors is for New Zealand. Because it's the way that they portray like the house parties and stuff, and like the rough bars. Man, it's all sorts of rough bars like that across New Zealand in that time period. Kind of thing. Like you were saying, it tells the truth.
Mm. Yeah, and especially those little details. The one that you mentioned about his naked kid runs across the room. So,
Yeah.
is that your brother? That's my son. See, that's meant to shock back in those days. Like, I think John Singleton with this movie has all these little details of a different lifestyle or different kind of, and it's probably, I can imagine the Balangis back in the days thing is unbelievable. Like, hey, what do you mean you cross the street and the red car comes and he winds down the window and the gun comes out,
Yeah.
and points the gun at you. Hey, you're just walking across the street. That kind of stuff. And like all these little things. Then you have a Furious Styles talks about like the he gives a lesson to the kids about looking at the sign, and he talks about
about real estate and driving up the prices there, real estate.
Yeah,
because that was an interesting take, I reckon.
Gentrification. Talks about gentrification and all that.
That's
kind of
the word.
Stuff,
Yeah, got you.
So, as much as this film is about the hood, there's a message in it too, and there's a lot of messages. And I think when we were kids watching this, we just glorified the gangsters and all that kind of stuff. Like we always thought it was cool, but you never get we're not old enough to get the meaning of it all. Like, see, the first image on that movie is a stop sign, and you hear the gunfire and the sound in the background, and it just focuses on the stop sign, meaning stop. You gotta stop all the shit. Like, it's an anti. It's an anti, I don't know, gang violence movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
And look what we have to deal with living in the hood.
Yeah,
right.
That was like Crenshaw. Was that where it was?
Yeah,
in
it's
LA?
Crenshaw. Yeah, in LA. And probably Hollywood, just a few, half an hour away or 15 minutes away drive, and there's a different lifestyle over there. It's like, there's none of the shit happening.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, thinking about it now, it's one of the original hood movies, and probably one of the best hood movies.
I think so.
It's grounded in its message.
Yeah, absolutely. But you're right about all those nuances that you find picking up in the movie. What was that one? Like, he's like, was it two kids that go, you want to go see a dead body? Like they come across those gangsters, like he's like standing there in the middle of the street. No shirt on, like gold. He's like, chuck me a ball. Chuck me a ball. I'll chuck it back. I don't need your ball. Look, I got money. And then he ends up catching the ball. He's like, thanks. That walks off of it. It's like, oh, what?
Yeah. And if you think about it, life here, like in the hood over here, like I never lived in South Auckland, but you can imagine in South Auckland, like there's a version of that, but not let's go see this dead body or a gun comes out of the car, or that's extreme.
Oh,
but we will have a version of those kind of street things that happen over here, eh?
Yeah,
but not to like that extreme. To us, they'll be extreme, but we won't go as far as that. But we do have those same sort of things. There's always the bully guy down the road, and there's going to be some guy that takes your ball,
Yeah.
But you're not going to go, let's go see a dead body. You're going to go, let's go see this dead bird or something, or something like that.
All right, up to you. What's your first draft?
I'm going to go before you get it.
Wait, hold on. Comedy.
No.
Okay.
No.
All right then. Sorry. Yep.
To be honest, I don't think you got my one. Wait, to be honest, this category I'm gonna pick. I think you've got it. I think you don't have any of my other ones.
Oh yeah, okay. All right. Are you willing to? I'll put my next pick on the line. I'll let you
Okay.
pick the next. I'll let you go twice in a row. If you can, if you've got this, I'll let you pick the next one too.
Are you serious?
Yep.
Okay. I'm going sports.
Yep. Okay.
This movie came out in 1994.
Okay.
Stars Tupac. Oh, he's in it. It's got a killer soundtrack. Above the Rim.
Oh, lies. The lies.
What do you reckon?
What
do you reckon?
Okay. Okay. Two things, right? Yes, I do have it listed. Okay.
Right.
But it is not a sports movie.
What?
I did not have it listed as a sports movie.
Okay. I listed it as a sports movie because it's got basketball in it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
it was actually my backup for the gangster movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it does cross paths, eh?
Absolutely. I think it's the piece where Birdie, he's the local drug dealer that funds the team.
Yep, that's right.
Okay. No. So you find out that Natsu and Birdie are brothers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a point where they're both visiting the grave, and that's when you find out. Oh, shucks, that's his brother.
Oh,
What?
that's Leon's character.
Leon. Yeah, that's the one.
It's
Natsu.
Nah, Ship.
Ship.
Oh,
right.
not
Sorry.
so. Not so is the friend that dies that
That he
tries to
keeps
dunk it and
referring to.
he dunks it and goes off the edge of the building.
Yeah. That's the one.
Yeah.
That's the one. And he keeps on playing. He keeps on playing back he keeps on talking to his friend while he's pretending to play. Right. That ship.
Just touching on that.
Yeah.
Who the hell has a basketball hoop on top of a building like that? What? Can you imagine how many times the ball goes off the edge and they go retrieve the ball?
Yeah. I mean,
come on, man.
I guess I was sort of thinking of what's a way that what's a way that someone could die playing basketball, and they thought, okay, well, let's not do a drive-by shooting because that's too obvious, So what's a way, So
I think they were trying to. I think they had that storyline in last because they haven't thought of it, like you're saying, and said, why don't we just put the basketball hoop on top of the building and let him fall off the edge? Like what? imagine pitching that to the, to the studio. Like, oh yeah, we're gonna have this basketball game on top of the building, and he's gonna miss the dunk and fall off the edge.
We're gonna make it tragic. We're gonna put in slow-mo. It's gonna be angles. It's gonna show. Yeah, I can imagine, man. I can imagine the spin doctors they would have used to be able to, the spin they would have put on that to be able to get it over the line with the studios. That would have been crack up. So okay, cool. Yep. Tell us about Above the Rim. Come on.
So first, I want to talk about the soundtrack to this movie. This is in the 90s, and this is when hip hop R&B for us was at its peak, right?
Absolutely.
And this is when Bad Boy was on the east. This was Defro was on the west.
Yep.
And they were having their battles. But this whole album is Defro Records produced, right?
Right.
And if you go down the list and what's there, right? You got SWV, anything. You got H Town, Part Time Lovers in there. You got Dog Pound, Big Pimpin' was one of my favorites in this. In this,
yeah.
It's just one after the other. Just bangers, man. I'll be sure.
Absolutely.
In there.
The one that stands out for me is Pain, the Tupac song. So what blows my mind about this is the beginning of the song. If you listen to the beginning of the song, I couldn't help but notice your pain. My pain.
Is that in the movie?
No, it's not. Do you know where it's from?
Where's it from?
Star Trek.
Oh.
Yeah.
Shit, I didn't even know that.
The second one. It took me ages to figure it out. I was like, because I honestly thought it was part of. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, true.
Like how Khan is that dude who constantly. Oh, is it Khan? It's from Star Trek. I know that much, but it was a person who always said it. He was the sort of the bad guy who always says, like, I couldn't help but notice your pain, and he would just talk to them and talk to them and make them re-experience their pain. He was sort of like a not a prophet, but he was one of those sort of like an evangelist.
Oh,
yeah, I don't know, but it was what blew my mind is it's like, oh, what? Wait, Star Trek? Hey.
Yeah, they added that in there. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't even go away.
Exactly.
I know Tupac must have been a Star Trek fan. He must have been a Trekkie. He must have been a Trekkie.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, he was a he was a Juilliard graduate, right?
Mm.
Graduate of Juilliard. He was a classically trained actor, so it makes sense. Like he would always. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of what he wrote wasn't just inspired by by his surroundings, but also by what he read and what he studied and what he'd I mean, they didn't call him a hip hop genius for nothing.
Mm.
Yeah.
So yeah, Tupac's Pain is in there. He's got a second song in there. I'm just looking at it. Pour a little liquor.
Ooh.
Pour out a little liquor.
Okay.
Afro Puff's in there by Rage, and I guess their number one single on this album was Regulate. Nate Dogg and Warren G.
Bro, and that I reckon that's if you listen to all those titles you just fired out, I think there's songs that have sort of can stand the test of time, especially Regulate. That's a song that even now, I mean, my daughter's 17, and even this is a song that she would happily play, when we're in the car together. So it's impressive.
Well, if the beginning of Pain is Star Trek, the talking and Regulate is from Young Guns.
Yeah. That's right. That's right.
So that's another odd movie to put in there, but I guess Regulate,
Yeah, I guess it matches that whole like Wild West theme, right? That this is how we are on the West Coast,
Yeah. Oh, Dr. Dre's the man, put that
absolutely
together.
Absolutely. Was this like after he had left and created Aftermath? Or was this during the whole NWA time?
I think he was. Oh no, it wouldn't have been Dr. Dre, the Regulate, or would it have been? Or was it Warren G?
That would have been Warren G.
Because he's his own producer too, eh?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
That whole G-Funk.
Yeah. G-Funk era. But no, man, I think this soundtrack is a good compliment to this movie, eh? Because it sort of comes out at the right time. Because I think even the game of basketball was coming up. Because I remember I started playing when I was in intermediate. And this is probably around the time when this movie came out and hip hop was strong and all that. So yeah, it resonates with me that this was probably, I think, when did White Man Can't Jump? Because there was another one. There was another one too, but even Tupac was a big star. Everyone liked him, and he was coming out in movies too. So everyone had to watch a Tupac movie. So
no, absolutely. I think when I was sort of quite late to this one, so especially like Above the Rim, I think I only saw it sort of early 2000s because I think after White Men, not after White Men Can't Jump, after Boys in the Hood, that was pretty much it for my household.
Right.
It's just like, oh my gosh, we're not letting you guys watch. Island parents are like, oh no. We'd rather watch these action movies. We don't need to see any more of these gangster movies from overseas. Like, oh, true. Okay, because I'm watching it at my cousin's house then. Okay, cool. But yeah, no. But I guess 10 years older, I was a lot more appreciative of that movie. Above the Rim, great soundtrack. Yeah, I agree, and like a real interesting story too. Like
yeah. So Leon, he's like a ex street ball legend there.
Yeah. That's right.
He sort of has to come back and help one of the young stars in high school. Because this is during the summer, eh? So it's all done there. So
correct.
So they're now doing those street ball competitions.
Yep.
And sort of like what happens in America, like when these young stars come up, the local gangsters try get them to just to like steal money or not steal money,
just
like
to bankroll them, eh?
Influence them, eh?
Influence
them, so when they make it to the big time, they're there too.
Yeah.
So this was kind of thing that's happening with Dwayne Martin's character.
Yeah.
And so that's what I remember, and I remember the end. Man, always rewind the end because I like the basketball scenes. When they're playing.
Oh yeah.
They're playing ball, and I remember years later when Spike Lee made He Got Game. Spike Lee said he didn't like Above the Rim because his comment was, "Man, no one dunks every single time in real life." That's what man. It's a movie, man. You want to see the dunks
in real life?
You want to see the dunks? What?
One of my favorite quotes from that movie is is Birdie's enforcer. What's his name?
The one that dies at the end there.
Yeah. It was like there's this line that he says. It's sort of along the lines of "We soldiers, god damn it." They were all talking a bunch of. I think they were all just all talking a bunch of trash. They're talking trash, and he was just like trying to straighten them all out.
That actor, his name's Wood Harris,
Yes.
and he's on The Wire. He's Barksdale on
Okay.
The Wire. Yeah.
Man, I've never seen The Wire. I keep hearing about this. Like, I
man,
feel like, is that like early 2000s?
it came out same time as Sopranos. So yeah,
Sopranos.
about then.
Oh yeah,
about
the
that
early
time.
2000s. Yeah.
Oh, you gotta watch it, man. Wire is one of the greatest, if not to me, it's the second greatest TV series of all time. To me, Sopranos number one. Sopranos number one. Wire's number two.
Okay.
It's just great storytelling, man. Like, and the characters. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
The gangsters in that. It's realistic, and man, it's just great series, man. It's a great series.
True that. Okay. That's good to know. Good to know.
Yep. So that's my sports one.
Okay. Cool. Right, because I'm a man of my word. I didn't say whether it was going to be a sports movie or not. It was in my list. So I'll let you take the next one too.
Okay, I'm gonna go for comedy.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And I picked a movie that came out in 1992, starring Eddie Murphy. Another great soundtrack.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Another great soundtrack.
Yep.
Boomerang.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Boomerang.
I've never seen Boomerang.
You haven't seen it?
I've never seen it.
You never seen it?
No.
Oh my gosh, man.
This is but yeah, you're great. The soundtrack is The End of the Road?
Yes.
Is that the one?
Oh yeah, it is End of the Road. Yep.
End of the Road?
The soundtracks. If there's another great soundtrack, because if Above the Rim was produced by Defro Records, Boomerang is produced by Babyface.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That so was got Tony Braxton.
Is that Let It Flow?
No, it's the one when she's talking about let me just bring it up. Soundtrack.
Yeah, it's just I guess this is one of those movies that just went.
So it's Tony Braxton, Give You My Heart. She actually sings a couple of songs here.
Oh,
the other song she sings is what's the other song she sings?
Holy.
PM Dawn's in there. Die Without You.
Far out. That's a honestly that's like a low key. That's underrated, that song.
Yeah. End of the Road, Boys to Men. There you go, Johnny Gill. Don't Wanna Love You, Shanice. Tribe Called Quest is in there. Hot Six, Tony Braxton. Love Should Have Brought You Home.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Very familiar. Yeah. True that.
One of the best albums to come out.
Okay.
The best soundtracks. Man, a lot of soundtracks, good soundtracks back in those days, eh?
Oh man, absolutely. I think back then, I think through the 80s and 90s, a lot of soundtracks were or a lot of songs were written for movies specifically. So like if you think of like if we use like the obvious like White Men Can't Jump, that was specific, that White Men Can't Jump by Riff was specifically for the movie. It wasn't, nobody's going to come out and actually write a song about that specifically. Who does that? No. And they get absolutely slammed for it because people think that they're racist and saying that white men can't jump. In their songs, like, oh, it's relax, it's it's for the soundtrack. Off there was like Force 5, Spirit,
right? Yeah.
And like move forward to like Fresh and You Will Know, by BMU. All of these movies had songs that were written for the movie. It wasn't written for anything else. It was for the damn movie.
I think Jason's Lyric was another.
Oh, sorry.
One of
that was it.
Soundtrack,
yeah.
Jason's Lyric. The Lady Professor was another classic.
Oh man, absolutely. We can go on and on and on. That's like a completely different draft altogether.
Yeah.
To be fair, because I feel like there's a theme starting to form with all your picks.
The killer soundtracks, yeah, killer soundtracks.
I'm starting to see the pen here, mate.
So a Boomerang came out in 92. I think for me, this is Eddie Murphy's last movie before he goes to shit, makes shit movies out of this. After
Boomerang.
this, I think this is the end of his run
Oh, yeah,
because he's been the man, right? Before this movie, he made Beverly Hills Cop, another 48 Hours, you know, Golden Child, classics, just classics. And I think that this Boomerang is the last of that run.
Yeah, I think so. Okay.
Before he goes into like doing movies for his kids and doing Nutty Professor and all that kind of stuff.
And like Metro is probably the worst, I reckon.
Yeah. So I think Boomerang 92 was the last of that run. So
okay,
this is a when I first watched this movie, I watched this in the movies in Mid City, and I think it was R16 or what's the M? Like mature audience.
Yeah,
you have to go
mature
with
audiences.
Someone.
You have to be 16 or
you
have to be 15 or older or something like that.
Yeah, that's right. And I remember I just turned 16 or something, and I went with my older cousin who came from Samoa instead of us because he was going to university.
Oh, yeah.
And I went with him, and I chose the movie because I like Eddie Murphy. I liked him from his other movies.
Yeah.
But I actually went into this movie not knowing about this movie, and just went into it because it was Eddie Murphy.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And then I remember as a kid going to this movie, I did not get it because it was kind of like adults, and they had, and I was embarrassed because they had like sex scenes, and my cousin was sitting next to me, and it's like it was like kind of awkward. But you know, because I'm a little
girl
kid.
girl cousin or boy cousin?
No, it was a boy cousin.
Yeah,
but no, I'm a little kid, you know, still, so it's kind of uncomfortable. But at the same time, it's like okay, I didn't really get it the first time, but over the years, it's become one of my favorite movies of all time, man. Like,
true.
One of my favorite comedies of all time.
Okay,
you know? And it's about Eddie Murphy. So he plays a guy named Marcus Graham. He's a marketing executive for this big marketing firm in the city.
Okay. Yep.
The thing about this movie, right? This movie has a universe and there's no white people in it. They're all black, and it's in corporate America. Oh. And this is 1992. You probably those will be no such thing. You know what I mean? And I think it's intentional. It's intentional.
Yep.
That the director and writer Reginald Hudlin.
Yep.
He did the House Party movies. So it's similar kind of style to House Party.
Yeah, right.
In a corporate setting. So the stars, it's got Halle Berry in it. It's got Robin Givens when she was on top. I think this is around about before or after she was with Mike Tyson.
Sure.
But yeah, that's the thing. I didn't realize until later on when I saw the making of this movie. It was intentional to show Black America in this kind of corporate setting.
Yeah,
which you never see
to show.
And it's not even true, you know, at that time, you know.
Yeah. But it's to give a possibility of it, right? And sort of manifest in ways.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So it's about Eddie Murphy. So he's this big time marketing executive. He's also a womanizer, and he's really shallow when it comes to all of that. And he's got two mates with him. he's got two mates, and one of his mates is Martin Lawrence. And this is probably the second time I've seen Martin Lawrence on TV. Because the program Martin hadn't come on yet.
True. Shucks, that was in the early 90s.
And the last time I saw Martin Lawrence was on House Party. He was Bilal on the House Party, but he was an extra. He was like an extra dude there. He wasn't one of the main dudes.
Mm.
So when I see him again in Boomerang, I say, hey, that's that guy off House Party. He was actually funny in this. So this is the first time I see Martin Lawrence as the Martin Lawrence we know him. As the funny comedian guy, right?
Yeah.
And then he comes on TV show Martin, and the rest is history. But he's in there, and he's hilarious. The jokes on this movie are hilarious. It's started cast. It's a black cast. There's no white people in there.
Yeah, there's some heavyweights, some real heavyweights.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just a crack up movie. It's just funny. It's a story about like Eddie Murphy. He's a womanizer and he's a player. And he thinks he's the man until he gets played. And then that's why it's called Boomerang, because what goes around comes around.
Yeah. Got you.
So the story's about him. He gets played, and now next minute he's the victim. and he's he's the victim. I recommend you watch it, man. You should watch it.
Okay, yeah, no,
It's
I'll
a good,
definitely
it's a good movie.
I'll
It
definitely go
doesn't
track it down.
age. Does it age? I think the clothes age because it's definitely 90s when you see it.
Like the big
it's
suits.
Yeah, the big suits, the big shoulder suits, and
Yeah.
hairstyle. The Bobby Brown fades, and the Bobby Brown fade.
Nah, man, it's the Bobby Brown fades for me, eh? Far out.
Yeah, the big shoulder suits, the Pierce form kind of suits.
Oh, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, it's supposed to mean end of the road, so it's that era.
Okay. Got you. All right. So I'm a bit conflicted here, eh? A bit conflicted because there's one movie I got. So for my next pick, I'm just gonna jump straight to comedy.
Yep.
I've actually got 3, and I can't pick between the 3 of them. It's actually really, really hard because I have I have a feeling that you have one, but not the other 2.
Okay. Pick which is the one that is popular worldwide. That's the one you pick.
This guy. No. I'm not playing that game with you, mate. No. Okay, so in the beginning we were talking about quotes, right? And how you watch a movie, you'll see a movie over the weekend, come in on Monday at school, and you'll be like repeating it back to your friends, everything that you heard in that movie, you'll be repeating it back, even down to mannerisms and how they spoke, right? So in 1995, this was the first time they'd ever seen a black man, ever seen the fastest mouth in the West meet the fastest hands in the East in the same movie, and with a great soundtrack as well, I must admit, and with quotable quotes. After watching this movie, I wanted to talk with a high pitch myself. So, what movie am I talking about here? None other than Rush Hour. So, this is starring Chris Tucker, the fastest mouth in the West versus the fastest hands in the East, Jackie Chan. This is probably his first foray, and probably like a clash of genres at the same time. So we had, if you've seen prior to this, there was Rumble in the Bronx. Rumble in the Bronx was like probably one of his first foray into the American market. So actually filming like stunts in America, and actually bring him into somewhere like, and it was almost like you just got what's his face? You just got Jackie Chan and dropped him in the hood, literally in the hood, And what better person to use than the man himself, Chris Tucker, who is like unapologetically himself. The way that he speaks, the way that his mannerisms, the way he carries himself, that unapologetic like swagger about him. That's like, no, it's not my fault. It's your fault. It's your fault that you're there. Kind of thing. That whole, why are you blaming me? I'm not the person who caused the problem here. It's you. But also he does it with such a high pitched voice. So one of the most well-known quotes of all time is, "Don't you ever touch a black man's radio, boy. You can do that in China, get your ass killed down here." And it's with that high pitch that really is like, damn, from Friday. Same energy. So the reason why I love this movie is for those 2 things. So back in 95, there were it sort of merged the 2 things that I loved the most, and that was excuse me, let's try and pause that. My background's just switched. Sorry. 2 things that I love, which is kung fu movies and black movies, or hip hop culture in general, right? So it mixed those 2 things, and I reckon in this case they got that mix bang on, and the whole like Jackie Chan, he really plays the real Chinese tourist, touches the radio. Oh, Beach Boys. He starts singing along. Like, whoa, I got something for your ass, And then what does he play? He plays Jay-Z, Can I Get Her, And then even then, if we're talking about things that we repeated to our friends on Monday, there was also the dance. He's like in the car, he's like, it's hella cringe now, but still, back when I was 15, back when I was 14, 15, that was the thing to do. What was I doing at the school discos that year? That move.
Even that quote, I'm Mako, you Tito.
And the whole G17 classified. It's like, why don't you take that badge, stick it up your ass, all up in your ass. I'm LAPD, baby.
I like that pick. That I thought you were gonna pick Friday, but nah, that's a good pick. And that, to me, when Rush Hour came out, I remember being sort of relieved that we have another guy to take the reins off Eddie Murphy and carry on that style of comedy in movies.
Yeah.
Man, I love Beverly Hills Cop, man. I love the first one when Eddie Murphy just can talk his way out of anything, his way into anything.
Yeah.
And Chris Tucker was that guy in Rush Hour, And instead of me thinking, oh, what a copycat, I was really appreciative because I knew that Eddie Murphy wasn't going to do any of those anymore. And we needed a refreshing take on that sort of character.
Absolutely.
The smart talking black dude with hip hop attitude and can talk his way out of anything. And into Chris Tucker, and he's doing it to a T, and he's the man.
But he's doing it his way. He's not trying to be an Axel Foley and Crenshaw. He's his character.
Yep. That's right.
He's Chris Tucker playing his character, which is great. I love that.
Yeah, he's good. He does it again in Show Me the Money, the one of Charlie Sheen? Not Show Me the Money. When he's a convict.
Him and is that the one with Ice Cube?
Nah, it was Charlie Sheen. Charlie Sheen's a reporter, and he used to take him around. I forgot the name. It's something about money. He's showing me the money or something like that. But but anyway, but Rush Hour, man. Rush Hour went to three parts, part 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, but it's what they try to do, I think they try to almost as if like the same as what they did with what they're doing currently with the Fast and Furious franchise. They try to do too much with it. Like the chemistry's there, but they just try to do too much with it. So like Rush Hour 2, what was that? That was when they followed him back to China and tried to do the revolt, try to reverse the thing on him. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
A lot of it doesn't make sense. It's like references to samurai swords and stuff. It's like, bro, you're in China. Why would you even say that? It's stupid. But anyway, like for me, Rush Hour, it showed like this whole like how you've been saying about like soundtracks and stuff. This was probably one of the soundtracks that I ended up probably one of the first soundtracks that I ended up actually buying or getting a copy of, at least. It's like it introduces us or it shows like another side to the likes of Jay-Z, and that Can I Get Her? It introduces the guy that we now know as Ja Rule. There's a song on there which was probably one of my favorite songs at the time. You probably won't catch me singing, so listen to it anymore. But there's a song by Ja Rule on the album called "Bitch Better Have My Money." This is way before Rihanna decided she was going to make a song about it. This is Ja Rule. Now, if you don't have a chance, if you ever get a chance, listen to it, because it's actually a really, really good song, really, really put together really, really well. But that Can I Get Her? Oh man, that was the anthem of 96, 95, 96, 97. That was something that was hitting really hard. And then even then, like on top of that, you have Montel and Manifa, and I think it was Fleshbone as well. So there's a song on there called "If I Die Tonight." It's a nice slow jam, and Flesh and Bone does a real good job the way that he always does with slow jams. You know how you'd hardly ever hear a rapper on a slow jam that could do it. That could sort of keep to their own essence. So you have Hammer who try to do it. Have you seen her? Didn't make sense. I don't think rappers do slow jams very, very well. But with Flesh and Bone, he does it. He's himself wherever he goes. So there's a song called "Fallen" that he does with Montel Jordan. Same thing again. He sounds exactly like himself. Bone Thugs and Harmony in general with Mariah Carey on "Breakdown." Same thing again. they were just made to be able to do those kinds of genres. So on this song, If I Die Tonight, perfect, absolutely freaking perfect. So if there's a song that like if I could hands down say there is one of my favorite songs on there, it's more likely that one. If I Die Tonight. Down to the limit, down to the limit. Okay, I'll stop. But yeah, I highly recommend you go away and just listen to it, man, because it's a great song. Great song.
Yeah, I might actually, because I only remember the Jay-Z one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then there's like, there's like the Wu-Tang Clan, there's Terror Squad before we even knew what Terror Squad was. I was like, damn. And like, it's that whole Fat Joe, Big Pun, and just how they were able to, Big Pun had passed away by then, sorry. But Terror Squad, even that song, what's it called? I can't remember. But it's like it shows in that song, it shows Fat Joe's chops as a lyricist, like really shows his chops as a lyricist. But yeah, I don't know. That's besides the soundtrack, which was probably my biggest draw card. It was it was those quotable quotes throughout the entire movie, like and just Chris Tucker, just really, I reckon that's when if Friday was the announcement that Chris Tucker was here, then Rush Hour was the pedestal that they put him on as a result. That he would get all these things, that he would get all the jobs that he did afterwards.
It makes sense, but it's sort of a shame he didn't come back and do part 2 on Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, it makes sense that he moves on to better things and
I think
better productions. No offense to Ice Cube.
Yeah, so with that, hand it over.
Rush Hour, yeah, that's a good one. Okay, I'm going to go to documentary.
Oh,
and I chose.
Okay,
this is my own. This is my one of two.
Yep.
Films that are in the 2000s.
One of two films in the two. Okay, yep.
Yeah, so this came out in 2016. It's from ESPN. And to me, it's one of the greatest documentaries ever made. It's got accolades. And they've said it's the best documentary ever made. And I have to agree. It's called OJ Made in America.
Of course it's OJ. Oh, man. So
now I don't know if this falls into movie because it's actually a documentary series.
Okay.
I think it's 5 parts, 1 hour each, so it's 5 hours.
Yep.
But to me, man, have you seen it?
I haven't, but I've seen sort of the reviews and I read a little bit about it. Yeah.
Oh man, it's well done. It's about OJ's life starting from when he first gets into college.
Okay.
He becomes a football star in college. And it's from there to when he goes to prison the first time, when he steals that memorabilia of that fan.
Right.
But man, it's 5 episodes of just in-depth look at the reasons, him as a person.
Yep.
And you figure out the reason, sort of why he does what he does, and the background of the court case, the OJ Simpson trial.
Got you. Yep.
And man, it's so fascinating. It's especially the cultural part of it. Now, when we did the rules for this podcast, talking about African American experience,
right?
Like this is one of the quintessential African American experience.
Okay.
In America, especially in LA during the time of the riots,
right.
King. This was all around that time, and how OJ fits into the experience. The African American experience, which he doesn't really fit into anything, because he's a man who's quoted. His famous quote was, "I'm not black, I'm OJ." So that gives you a look into where his mindset is in the first place.
Yeah.
Right, and he is just like the worst kind of guy ever. But because of what's happening in the environment where he is in America at that time, police brutality, the injustice that black people are facing, especially in LA. It goes into all of that and the background of all of that, and how he's this figure, he's the superstar football figure kind of like on the same. He's on the same in sports. He's on the same level as like Muhammad Ali,
Yep.
Michael Jordan,
As in
um,
accolades.
as in sports accolades,
Okay.
and what maybe black people could. They don't ask for it, but because he's up there, the power he can bring to helping out the community,
Yeah.
he doesn't do anything of that. He doesn't even care. He's a person that
Holy.
doesn't give a fuck about his community.
Because he's
Like,
OJ.
because he's OJ. He says, he quotes, they quoted him. He says it. I'm not black, I'm OJ. When they're talking about,
Holy.
you're going to stand up for some, some black rights and all that kind of stuff. He
Yeah.
doesn't want to be involved. Like he gets asked by other athletes who want to help their community and that.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not my problem. That's not me. That doesn't affect me. I'm living in the rich area. Like, you guys deal with your own. That kind of attitude.
Holy, yeah.
So then and then it goes into like how you can understand why he gets acquitted. Why he gets acquitted, because it sort of brings up like, because you walk away thinking, nah, you know what, he did it.
Yeah.
But the reason why he gets acquitted is not because if he did it or not. It's something deeper than that. It's like payback to the white people, sort of thing, because there's black people in the jury.
Okay, I got you. So they're trying to say that, okay, this is more than just like a murder trial. This is a great big FU to the
It is, and that's how it paints it out to be, this documentary. But it goes into everything. It's that's why it's 5 hours or 6 hours or whatever it is.
Yeah,
it goes into everything, because you need to know the context, what's going on, to understand the reasons why he gets acquitted, and the reasons why the black people just leave him when he gets in trouble the second time. Because it's funny, because when he gets in trouble the second time, all the black people are, who cares? He can go to jail.
Blackie's OJ.
yeah. So it's really fascinating, It's just but just the cultural part of it, like, man, it blows my mind. Because when you think of O.J. Simpson, you think the trial, you're like, it's just a guy that got on trial, he got acquitted, and that's it. But this actually goes into deep the meaning of it all, and it's fascinating, man. And that's why, to me, it's a well done documentary. And any documentary for me that's well done is when you walk away leaving a feeling in you, like it will last for ages. Get you a better understanding of the situation. If John Singleton made Boys in the Hood for us to have a better understanding of what happens in the hood, OJ Made in America gives us a better understanding of this, the whole thing as a whole. The racism, and the effects of it, and the payback and all that kind of stuff. And it's
crazy.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. But that's my documentary.
Okay, all right. I'll match you there. So my documentary, if you cast your mind back to 1996, there was a documentary that was released as a released to the movies. It was around an event that was based. This was based on a documentary. It was surrounding an event that preceded it back in 1974. So it's based on an event that happened in 1974, known as the Rumble in the Jungle. The name of the documentary, When We Were Kings. This was the documentary that followed both George Foreman and Muhammad Ali on their travels, on their journeys to Zaire, Kinshasa and Zaire, to fight for the world heavyweight title. Now, the one thing, honestly, I was like a little kid when I watched this, but one thing that amazed me, because up to that point I had no idea who Muhammad Ali was until I saw that documentary.
Right.
And what blew my mind was the level of trash talk that this man has, and the level it wasn't so much like, it wasn't those three liners, or those cheapy, I'm going to punch your face, I'm going to pummel you onto the ground, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to eat your kids, whatever. Nah, this was premeditated, scripted, refined trash talk. If anything, Muhammad Ali knew exactly what he was doing, and during every single one of his every single one of his promo spots, he was. I I truly believe that he was the template that was used for a lot of what for professional wrestlers to be able to use moving forward. Now professional wrestlers have their little spots where they do a little bit of trash talk. So if you think of like the likes of like Dusty Rhodes, even up to like
the promos they do.
Yeah, the promos that they cut, all the wrestling spots. So, they talk about themselves and they trash talk their opponents and stuff. I reckon that that all lines lead back to the likes of Muhammad Ali. Just in the amazing, oh man, the imagery of this man he was able to. He's like what does he talk about? He talks about his quotable quotes of I've handcuffed lightning, of hospitalized the brick. I'm so mean I make medicine sick. What? I am the fastest. I am the meanest. I am the prettiest. So
the original trash talk guy.
The original trash talk, 100%. And this was my introduction into Muhammad Ali. And now, for George Foreman, I don't know so much because I feel like throughout this entire documentary there was a lot of like you were saying with Made in America, with OJ Made in America. What they were doing here is that they were showing they painted the picture of what was happening at the time for the likes of Muhammad Ali as well, and just going through the era of Black Power, and the reason why they're fighting Zaire to sort of bring, it's like, oh well, if we're gonna fight, let's go to the jungle and fight. We're from Africa, kind of thing. So it's interesting to see I guess the different interviews and stuff, and just how they conduct. It probably doesn't age as well as it should, because it really gives you. But what it does give you is that it gives you it gives you a snapshot in time of what it was like for two black guys that were champions. If you can imagine, these guys are the race relations is an all time, in the US. But who's the world heavyweight champions? Oh, black people. Oh, yeah, true. Yeah. Oh, okay, sure. Because anyway, so that's for me. That's why I chose. When we were kings.
Yeah, that's a good one to choose, especially when you're saying the first of everything. Because black culture has influenced a lot of pop culture and history. They invented rock and roll. They invented hip hop. Spread around the world.
Yeah.
So a lot of pop culture is like jazz music.
Yeah. Man,
even now. So, but to invent things like trash talking in sports, or even, being they're the minorities back in the day, and the civil rights movement and all that. But when you're a star and you're a black person and you're a superstar in sports, you got this power, eh?
Yeah,
and you can
absolutely.
give it back. You can give that power back to your community by doing these sort of things. Like having the rumble in the jungle, let's go back to Africa, let's fight there, because these assholes in our country don't love us. They don't deserve to watch our fight. We may as well take our fight back home, man.
Let's take it back to our people.
Yeah, that's right. It's deep, man. It's deep. And just contrasting the documentary I chose, the OJ one, that's that's the opposite. So here we got When We Were Kings talking about how superstars in sports, black African American superstars in sports, give back to the community.
Yeah.
Whereas OJ, when in America, someone that doesn't give a fuck about his community, and his community using them to get what they want.
Yep.
Absolutely. Which is stuffed up, but yeah, very, very fascinating. I never watched When We Were Kings, but I've always seen it around. I think I've seen snippets here and there. But I know what you mean when you talk about Muhammad Ali and his trash talking, because there's a whole bunch of snippets everywhere, and he's man.
Yeah, no, he. I was just gonna say, that whole. If you think about how that relates into hip hop, there's that whole. So MCs are known for if you think of an MC or the mic controller, hip hop guy, the rapper essentially, right? As a hip hop element. An element of being an MC is being able to brag, or what they call it, being braggadocious. Talking about lifting yourself up, really pumping up your own tires, and that's something that that's embedded in what Muhammad Ali was all about. It's like, well, ain't nobody else gonna do it. I might as well do it for myself. Why am I gonna let other people talk about me when I can do it? I can do it perfect. I got my own, Might as well, might as well lift myself up if no one else is gonna do it. So yeah.
Nice. Okay, for my next pick, I will go with drama.
Okay.
And I'm picking a Spike Lee joint from 1990, starring Denzel Washington. He's a jazz player. I know what you. I know what's. You know what movie it is? It's Mo Better Blues.
Ooh, no, I have not seen that. I feel like this is the education I'm about to have here.
Okay, this is the movie that made me appreciate jazz music at a young age when I watched it.
Okay.
And I never looked at. Every time I think of jazz music, I always go back to this movie because this is the first time it made it. I saw it as something that looked cool, sounded cool. I've heard jazz before, but I always thought it was like staying because instruments, blah blah blah. But when you see Denzel Washington perform and in this movie and the jazz, the music that's in this movie, and see how cool it is and all that kind of stuff, and just the music, the sound.
Yep.
Man, it hits you, man. But I appreciated jazz music after this when I watched this film.
Okay.
And just knowing that black people invented it, and we talked about how black people invented pop culture and around the world, especially music. Jazz is a big part of it too. That's the reason why you want to see the originators do their thing.
Yeah, totally.
And
okay.
I watched this film and I watched it when I was young, but again, I didn't understand it, the storyline, because it's like it's not like Boomerang, but similar thing where Denzel Washington plays a jazz musician. He plays the trumpet, and he's got a band, and he's sort of arrogant.
Yep.
He sort of thinks he's the man, and Wesley Snipes, he plays the saxophone player in the band.
Oh, but okay. And so 1990.
Yeah, 1990.
Okay.
So this is before. I think this is before Wesley Snipes was making all these action movies. So I didn't really knew Wesley Snipes at that time, but he's in the movie.
Okay.
But the story's about Denzel Washington. His name is his Bleak. He's he's a jazz player, and he's sort of like an arrogant guy. And so it's sort of the storyline goes into like a redemption kind of thing, because he's like this not a good person, and he's good jazz musician. He's in this band, and he's sort of arrogant. He has a girlfriend, but he cheats on her and has another girlfriend, and they sort of seeing two girls at the same time. And his best mate's the band manager, and that's played by Spike Lee.
Okay.
And he's a gambler, and he's in debt with the local mob.
Yep.
And he's always constantly trying to bug Denzel Washington to help him repay the debt, and Denzel Washington is not. So at the end, everything goes to shit for Denzel. He loses his friends.
Yeah.
He loses his girlfriends, and he loses the band. And because
through his arrogance,
so he makes all these bad decisions.
Yeah.
And he loses bit by bit what he has. Like in the beginning, he's like the man, but then you find out he's like an arrogant dude, and he's making all these bad decisions, and then he's slowly losing each of his things until right at the end he gets beaten up, and he gets smashed in the face, and his lips get damaged.
Ooh.
So he can't play.
What is
he can't play the trumpet anymore. So that's the last final thing.
Yeah.
And so so his redemption is actually trying to go back to his girlfriend, make up, and start a family, and try move forward in the new life.
Yeah.
Because because of his arrogance, he's lost his art, how he gives art. So that's that story.
Okay. So that honestly, that sounds like a not like that. That sounds like almost biblical, eh? So like, if you think of like the story of Job, like, actually no, it's nothing like Job, because Job was like humble throughout the entire time. Job was someone that was he was rich. He had land. He had people. He had a big family. He had like heaps of like livestock, and then all that was taken away from him, he was left with nothing, and he was just throughout the entire time he just praised God's name, that kind of thing. But that's
all right.
yeah, that's nothing like the story you just told me.
Yeah, but yeah, sort of. Yeah, but it doesn't end up to be a sad story because he ends up having a good life,
right.
but without. It's sort of like saying, like, okay, if you're talented if you're talented at something, you can live a life with your talent, right?
Yeah.
And that will make you. I mean, that's your livelihood as well.
Right.
Like if you make the wrong decisions and you lose that talent, what have you got next? Well, there's a redemption and there's a rebirth. So his rebirth is going back to his old girlfriend, actually getting married and starting a family. And you see that at the end of the movie with all these little snippets of flash, like moving forward. So you see him he gets married, has a kid, and he's a father, and he lives that life happily ever after. But he can't play anymore, sort of thing.
Yeah. Oh wow. Okay.
So it's sort of like a happy ending, but it's sort of like okay. Yeah.
all right. Interesting. Right. Well, Mo Better Blues.
Yeah, Mo Better Blues, but get up for the music. The jazz. I love the jazz. Have you heard of the Blanchard Marcellus?
No.
It's a quintet.
Okay. No, never heard of them.
Yeah, they're African American. They've been around. They always do soundtracks. I mean scores. If you like every sort of trumpet, saxophone, jazz score you hear in movies, it's gonna be them because they do all of them. Yeah,
the Blanchard Quintet.
Yeah, Marcellus Blanchard Marcellus Quintet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Might give that one a try. Yeah, I'm not going to say I'm the biggest jazz fan, but I like I went through this phase like a couple of years ago, where I needed like music to concentrate to, and jazz is just one of those things that it was completely foreign, had no idea, but like it helped me focus. I don't know if it's like that anymore, but yeah, back then it was like it really, really helped. Like really helped, man. Anyway, that was a bit of a side quest for you. Okay, so we've done Hood. We've done. Sorry, was that the end of yours?
Yep, that was the end of mine.
Okay,
so that one was, what was that one? That was drama.
Drama. Okay, cool. So then comedy, Hood, Doco. Okay, I'm into my fourth one now. Okay, so I'm gonna go true story. Now,
okay,
like you were saying with your Made in America being like a 5-part series, my one is also a movie that was made for TV, which is a 2-part series. Now, cast your mind back to 1992. Father comes home in the middle of the night and comes across one of his instruments has a broken string. What does he do? He wakes up his children, gets them into the lounge. Who've been playing my guitar? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
yeah.
Tino, get a switch.
The American Dream.
The Jacksons, the American Dream. Probably one of the greatest American success stories to ever come out. To ever come out. Actually, in terms of black families, right? So, the one thing I liked about the story, the one thing I could resonate a lot with in the story, are the hidings that those kids got.
Yeah. I think any islander could resonate with that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, we never call it a switch, but
go get the belt.
Yeah.
So when you see like Joe taking off his belt and stuff, like oh, I know what's happening here.
Yeah, that's right.
He's about to get his beans. Oh man!
But you know what's funny? Like it's filmed like those scenes when he's smacking the kids.
Yeah,
those scenes, and you see, I think it's Angela Bassett. They switch to her, and she's just in the corner crying.
Yeah,
and you hit a slap, and she's getting a fright every time the slap comes.
Yeah,
and then it's trying to make us be shocked, right? Or trying to make the viewer shocked that's going on. For us Islanders, man, we're like, man, that's normal. So what? Like, why is the mom crying for?
Where's the shock value on this? I know what that feels like.
I know.
Yeah, man. I know what it feels like to get told to go get something. So one of my favorite scenes out of this movie was when he there's a couple of them, but one of my favorites that I can remember is at the beginning. No, not at the beginning. Where they turn up home and he's like, okay, cool. I want you to take those concrete blocks. I want you to move them all over there. I don't. Why are we doing this? Don't ask no questions. So what do we do when we move it over there? Well, you're just gonna take them bricks. You're gonna move it over here. I'm gonna make you strong.
That's what they do in the prisons, eh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Move back and forth. Mm.
Absolutely. And one of the other ones was, I think there was a point. I think there was a point where where Joseph actually got through to the kids because he ends up what was it? I think it was Boys to Men. You know, they're like walking past and Boys to Men are singing. They're like in the still of the night. And then one of the guys walks forward and like pushes was it Jermaine? Or was it Tito?
Yeah, it was Jermaine.
Pushes Jermaine. You know, he's like, they get into a fight. Joseph comes out and goes, well, if you're gonna fight, must do it properly, you know. And he ends up beating the kid up and he turns around and he's like, Mama, Joseph told me not to be afraid. And I wasn't afraid. And I feel like that was like a turning point in their relationship because he actually, because all he knew was the dictator that this dictator that beat them all up and just was the person who ruled the roost. But then he actually took on his advice, as a father and his fatherly advice, and it worked.
And it worked, yeah.
I think that was because then you see afterwards, you see all of the success that comes off the back of that kind of thing. They start winning the competitions, But the other thing that also resonated with me is sort of like later on, as an adult. I mean, how I was in primary school when that came out, right? But later on in life, when I watched it again, you start to realize the precision that he was beating into them. So, I mean, literally beating into them, right? So he was what was that one? It was Marvin. I think it was Marvin. He kept on messing up his spin.
That's right. Yeah.
So he made him go out on
switch.
Yeah, exactly. And man, so if that ain't someone getting their ass beat for real, I don't think he was holding back on those smacks either. Because damn, that looks sore. But you see Marvin out on the street, afterwards, learning his spin and really drilling in that spin, and then fast forward to where they are when they also when they do their demo for Berry Gordy. And so you see how all in sync they are, and they're all dancing, and seeing Michael with his James Brown moves and stuff, and you see where they came from to that, and it just shows you just the level of detail that Joseph was willing, or the level of commitment that Joseph was willing to pull out of those kids to get what he wanted for them to achieve, or to get as far as they did.
Well, if you think about it, when we if you're in a group or band or choir or anything like that, you go to practice maybe twice a day, twice a week. Sorry.
Yeah.
But remember, they're living with Joe, so they're doing it every night.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They're probably doing it every single night, and it's like Kobe Bryant taking 100 shots a day or something like that.
Yeah. Like he wouldn't stop until he got his 100 shots.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy, but it's that level of commitment, to be able to and be that point of difference. Because you said you would have Barry Gordy would have seen it in their work ethic, in the studio afterwards, and just how well oiled they were when they went out to perform. He would have seen all of that. That's pretty much the reason why they were as successful as they were, as the Jackson 5, because of that. I reckon.
When you were talking about the scene when Boys to Men they show up,
yep,
I remember just cracking up laughing because the guy Jermaine was fighting. He's an actor, right?
Yeah,
and they're not gonna get one of the Boys to Men guys to fight a fighting scene, so they put this actor in, right?
Yeah,
to be with Boys to Men, and he's singing. And when I rewind it, or when I rewatch it again and I see that guy singing with Boys to Men, what the hell's that guy? He's that guy.
Yeah,
fake ass. He's a fake ass singing. He was just acting that part to fight Jermaine, man.
So we all know who these guys are, but who are you?
Yeah. And what's coming out of your mouth right now? You ain't singing shit, man.
We know you lying.
Yeah, man, I agree, man. This is one of the greatest sort of miniseries, for showing a success story of a black family.
Yeah,
the Jacksons. And I watched this when I was in primary school, and that was one of the songs. I remember just singing the songs and just quoting Joseph Jackson because he's crack up. He's like the character like on La Bamba. How you have a guy like Bob. You know, Joseph's that kind of guy too that you quote because he's the dad that everyone has. If you're a Pacifinder, you have a Joe as a dad, like at some point, you know. You get in trouble, man. So, like I said, man, like it's just normal to us when we watch that.
Oh man, what about that one where he is it Tito that marries Berry Gordy's daughter? Is it Tito or is it Jermaine?
No, it's Jermaine.
Jermaine. So he's like, pulls Jermaine.
Was it Jackie?
Was it Jackie? Well, anyway, he pulls his son aside, grabs him. He's like, "Hey, you remember that's my blood that runs through your veins, not Berry Gordy's." Like,
yeah. I'm jealous guy.
No, I'll tell you.
Jealous guy.
Relax, man. You're famous. You're famous now. Not gonna beat those kids no more. Oh, yeah, but that's I guess like the rest is history. The nostalgic, I guess, just ending point is just the nostalgia factor behind it, and the fact that I remember where I was when that came out, and I remember like who I was around at that time too. It sort of brings whenever I sort of think back and I see it like the reels on Instagram and on on Facebook. They're like that you see those little snippets. I remember every part of that story, and it's just just the feel good factor that comes with it. Not the feel good when he gets whacked, but the feel good factor about seeing that movie and just where I was during that period.
Yeah,
not the period of the movie, but when that was released. So
exactly.
That's the reason why I chose it.
And being familiar with the events, especially the events of Michael Jackson, how he makes his Off the Wall album, first one, and he comes up and does Beat It and goes on his own, and like just that journey as well. So
totally. Okay, over to you.
All right, man. So that was yours. That was your. Was it True Story? Eh?
True Story.
American Dream. Okay, I'll go True Story 2.
Oh, yeah?
Also came out in 92. It's also Spike Lee joint. Also stars Denzel Washington.
Oh.
And it's probably a movie that made me understand this guy a lot more and made me sort of get fascinated at the era this movie was about, especially the guy it's about. It's a biography. I'm talking about Malcolm X.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So when the first movie I watched to make me realize, and I watched that as social studies at high school.
Right.
A social studies teacher, because I think the subject was about race relations in the United States,
right?
About the civil rights movement, and the movie we watched was Mississippi Burning. With Willem Dafoe and Gene Hackman.
Yeah, I remember that.
And Willem Dafoe. So that was a story about civil rights workers that get killed in Mississippi. FBI come in and try to investigate.
And they bring up
that was the first time I ever seen that level of racism, and because I never knew what the black struggle was in the States before that. And when I watched that, oh fuck, is that what it was? Man, that's bad. Like I didn't know this. I didn't know about slaves and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, around the civil rights movement, you get black leaders like Martin Luther King, and you get Malcolm X. And I saw a lot of Martin Luther King, and I knew he was about peace and everyone worked together.
Right.
And then I heard about Malcolm X, but I didn't really get what he was about because I thought, haven't they got someone like Martin Luther King? Isn't he enough? This sort of thing. I didn't know there are two sides of the same coin at that time, and this movie sort of makes me understand where Malcolm X, why he's different to Martin Luther King,
right?
And it's kind of like Magneto to Professor
X. Yep.
It's the same thing. Like first, they both love their people. They love the mutants, but Magneto believes in mutants should dominate.
Right, are the superiors.
Yeah, the superiors, and Professor X talks about we should all live together, humans and mutants. That's exactly parallels. I think it's actually based on Martin Luther King and
Malcolm X.
That's what Stan Lee got his inspiration from. And it's so true, man. Because when you watch the movie Malcolm X, especially the scene, because it's about before he goes to prison and finds Islam. Because before he goes to prison, he's like a gangster dude. He's like a low life. He's a criminal.
Okay.
He's a criminal, and then he goes to prison. Then he finds Islam, and then during his time, he learns about being a Muslim, and he becomes Malcolm X when he comes out of jail, right? And he joins I don't know what they call it.
Nation of Islam.
Nation of Islam.
Yep.
And he becomes a big leader. But he's all about like empowering black people.
Yep.
And the civil rights movement, and sort of like take what's taken from you. So like fight back. He's into like he's saying fight back, like don't take any shit to the black people. Like, don't take any shit. Where Martin Luther King's all about peace and everyone working together. So he's sort of like opposite.
Like coexistence, yeah?
Yeah. So So have you seen the movie?
No, I haven't. That's why I'm like just listening intently to hear your story.
Yeah, I remember watching it the first time, and because it starts off before he went to prison, to me it was kind of boring.
Yep.
And I sort of like stopped watching it, and then a couple of years later, I'll just watch the whole thing again.
Right.
But no, it's good, man. It's good. It's good when you hear what he learned in prison. He sort of gave the priest in prison a lecture about Jesus being a white man. He's not. He's a black man. That sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So everything anti-black is in the dictionary.
Right.
And he learns all that, and it's just fascinating, isn't it? Like his ideas on that kind of stuff. So he empowers his people in a different way to Martin Luther King.
So it's to stand up for your rights as opposed to like as opposed to like peace of your neighbor kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's a scene in the movie where Malcolm X with his men, I think they're walking in the university, and one of the white students comes up to him. I said, "Excuse me, sir. I love your message. I love what you're trying to do. Is there any way, as a white person, can I help? Is there anything I can do to help?
Yeah.
What can I do?" And Malcolm X looks in there and goes, "Nothing," and walks away. And the camera goes on her, and she's like confused. Yeah. It's one of those scenes I remember. Like,
bro,
you're white, so you can't do anything.
You can go away.
Yeah.
Oh, true. Okay. These sound like some solid movies I should be watching, eh?
Yeah, no, it's a good movie because it's good for me because it's the first time I sort of like getting some more understanding of what's going on over there.
Right.
The black experience, that's the black experience, like the history of it all, and where these ideas come from, and what we can take back and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's Malcolm X, Spike Lee's.
Okay, all right. Okay, cool. So that was your true story, yeah?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to go straight over to drama. Again, I am conflicted between 3 picks. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick the one that sort of I'm on a nostalgic trail tonight, right? So if you cast your mind back to the year is 1995. Race relations. This movie takes precedence at a university as a new athlete an athlete student is walked through and is shown the different areas of the university, and he refers to them as Disneyland for the white people, and Chinatown for the Asians, and those are your people over there in Mother Africa. What movie am I referring to? Higher Learning. Yeah, there we go. Nice work. So this movie, I think I saw maybe when it came out on Sky a couple of years later. So this was 1997, 98. I was sort of in my formative years as a teenager, I guess, and it was actually quite enlightening. So it was funny you were talking about that whole Malcolm X story, the story of Malcolm X and his fight for in race and during the race relations time. Higher Learning is almost the same thing, but it's like if you can think of like the grandchildren. If Malcolm X ever had grandchildren, this is what they would be. This is what the black gorillas would be in Higher Learning. Interesting story. So it centers around. The reason why I've chosen it as a drama is because it centers around a student athlete who's black, and his girlfriend, the girl that he meets, is also a student athlete, and it was about one of the things that really resonated was the fact that about how they were both treated by their teams. So, what was it? Was it Omar Epps? That's Omar Epps. He was given a partial scholarship. So when he goes around and he tells Ice Cube that, what does Ice Cube tell him? He's like, "Well, run, nigga, run. You got to run faster." Whereas the girl's side, his girlfriend, who was that, by the way? Do you remember her name? Was
Tyra Banks.
It was Tyra Banks, right. So his girlfriend, she was talking about, I think they had this time where they were arguing and they were going back and forth about stuff. He goes, "Oh, well, do you know what it feels like when you're the only black girl in your dorm and shit goes missing?" So who do you think they're going to blame first? They're not going to blame Sally. They're going to be blaming me for all the shit that goes missing in the dorm. So woe is me as a black man, but hey, feel sorry for me. I'm the only black girl in my dorm, kind of thing. So that's what really resonated with me. I was like, oh shucks, actually, that makes fair enough. Fair enough. One of the things that really stood out was Busta Rhymes. So,
he's Ice Cube's mate, eh?
Ice Cube's mate. He's like Ice Cube's enforcer. So what was it? There was he was a real tough guy on campus, eh? He's just walking around and campus security come up to him. Excuse me, sir, can we see some ID? He just looks him straight in the eyes like, let me see yours first. And security's like, oh, let's get out of here, guys. It's like, wow. What was it? The other thing that really got me was it Lawrence Fishburne as his as the lecturer that really sort of really gets through to is it Tyreek? Is that his name in the movie? It's Omar Epps' character anyway. Malik, that's right. So he's the one who really gets through to him. And when his girlfriend dies at the end, who's the person who ends up consoling him? It's his ends up being his professor.
That's right, because Tyra Banks dies, eh?
Yeah, she ends up getting shot. So there was like this big unity after that big brawl between like the white power between the white power and the Afro guerrillas. They end up like getting into a massive fight, and then they had like they call for unity and had this big event about it, and then someone gets shot, and it turns out to be Tyra Banks. It was really sad, but yeah, that was probably like, oh man, how do I put it? Like, I cringe thinking about it now, but back then I really like resonated with the. I have no idea why. I think it was because of because I was really into sort of black culture back when I was around that age. But it was I think it was to do with especially Busta Rhymes and just how like after seeing them and had their massive ass fight that they had, that big rumble they got into with those white dudes, they come back and he's just like beaming. It's just like, and he keeps on. There's this quote. He's like, look at the black fist. That black fist. Oh, was it the flag that they have in their dorm? And it's got like a black fist on it. He's like, this black hand, nigga, this black hand. So he was talking about how he beat up some white dude. We fucked up that white boy, blah blah. This black hand. I was just like, whoa. Whoa, that's that. Yeah, man, that energy. I love that energy. I don't know why I resonated. Again, I cringe, but yeah, love it.
Yeah, another John Singleton movie, and probably his experiences going to university, going to a white university, or just a black experience inside a college, inside a university, and I think you get to see, like you were saying about Tyra Banks, her deal with being the only black girl in the dorm. Yeah, like, these are little things no one really notices. You wouldn't even think anything, but these are real problems for black people in America.
Yeah,
like
totally.
These little things that white people probably never think about and don't understand. But no, it's I like this film. I gotta admit, when I first watched it, again, I didn't understand.
Yeah, same.
And so a lot of these movies, when you're a kid watching these, you don't really understand. And when you're older, when you're adult, like if we watch it again, we'll understand more stuff than we did when we first saw it. But just the whole story on, because Michael Rappaport, he's in it. He's Remy, I think his name's Remy.
So, he's the one who ends up getting turned. So he was like
outcast. He's
outcast.
He's an
Absolutely.
outcast, and he's sort of like the white version of the black person in the university.
Yeah.
So he sort of automatically gets pushed into where the white guys are, and unfortunately,
'Cause-
it's the skinheads.
Yeah.
You know the leader of the skinheads.
Yeah.
He's Rip on Yellowstone. Yeah, he's Rip on Yellowstone.
No,
on
nah.
Yellowstone. Yeah, he is.
So Ripper's the supervisor, right?
Rip is the guy with the beard.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
cowboy
yeah.
on
The supervisor,
yeah.
the
So
foreman
he's the
on the site.
so he's the leader of the skinheads in High Looney.
No way.
Yeah, just
Oh,
put a
bro,
beard
I'm
on
gonna
him.
go back. Nah, man.
Draw a beard on him, and that's Rip. That's when he was young. But
Holy.
yeah, so they sort of like get Michael Rappaport into their group, and he sort of gets misunderstood. He's misunderstanding the whole thing, and he ends up going on a shooting spree.
Yeah,
kills Tyra Banks' character.
Yeah,
but yeah, man, I remember the lessons there, especially for Ice Cube, because Ice Cube's the students that's been there forever. Like he's been there for longer than he should be. Like and he understands a lot of things. So
especially I think that lesson. There's that lesson that he gave them in Monopoly. How he keeps on he kept on winning in Monopoly. Damn, though, how you so good? If you knew what I knew, capitalism is what he kept on pointing to.
Right.
Crazy.
Shucks, man, I'm gonna watch that again. Eh?
Yeah, same. But I just it was that in the. I think it was the whole. That's right. Yeah. So the reason why they were fighting in the first place is because he was just complaining about, woe is me, I've only got a part scholarship, I have to like run blah 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 blah. Like it's almost as if like everything up until that point has just come easy to Malik. Because of just if you look at him, he walks with his chest out. He's quite confident. He knows him. He knows he's like this big track athlete. He knows that he is, and everybody else knows that he is too. Knows that he knows too. So then when he finds out he's only got a partial scholarship, it's like, oh, I've never heard of this before. What's this adversity? So yeah, that's sort of like that kind of story. So it's interesting. So yeah, that was my pick for drama.
Nice, man. That's a good pick. Make me want to go watch it again. Okay. I'm going to Hidden Gem.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I'm going to Hidden Gem. And I'm choosing a movie that came out in 1997. It's actually I think it's a Hidden Gem. It is a Hidden Gem for me. It's a romance drama.
Romance drama.
Yeah. It stars O-Dog from Minister Society. What's his name? Tate. Is it?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Lorenz Tate.
Yeah.
Yep. And his love interest is Nia Long.
She was everybody's love interest in the 90s.
Yeah. She's on Best Man, eh? The Best Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. This
Nia
movie,
Long.
this movie sort of, and you probably appreciate this. This is the first time. If Mo Better Blues got me into jazz, this movie got me into poetry, and sort of like the spoken word and bars in there. So the movie's called Love Jones.
Yeah, okay. I've heard of this movie. I've seen like the shorts and stuff for it. When you buy when you hire the videos and it shows all the previews. I saw that. I remember that, but I've never seen it.
Yeah,
but please, I'm keen to hear it.
It's a good movie. It's a good movie because it's about a group of friends, right?
Right.
So amongst this group of friends, there's Lorenz Tate. He plays. I think he's an author. I think he's a struggling author, and I think the city's in Chicago. I think, but he's a group of friends, and they're all professionals, and they get together every weekend and they go to the local bar. It's like a bar where they have poetry. They stand up and have poetry, or stand up and do spoken words and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
it's a pretty cool bar. Me looking at that bar, thinking, man, I wish there was something like that in New Zealand. I'll go sit down and have. There's those tables with the lamp on the table. You sit down and have a beer or wine, or just look at the spoken word. So yeah, that kind of stuff. So to me, that's cool. that's cool.
Right, right, right,
But what's also cool is just about Lorenz Tate and his friends, and they all talk about life and work, and their love life and all that kind of stuff.
right, right.
And then Lorenz Tate stands up and does a spoken word. Then they come down and blah blah blah. But then he meets a girl. He meets Nia Long there, and the story's just about them trying to hit it off.
Right, right.
But he's sort of like not trying to, like, the chemistry is mean. It's like
Right.
they're meant to, when you watch it, they're meant to be with each other. But Lorenz Tate's still single. He's still like, he's not a player, but he's not looking for any commitment.
Okay, yeah, got you, got you.
But he struggles to communicate that to Nia Long. So it's like kind of frustrating.
Yeah.
But one of his mates is Bill Bellamy.
Yep.
The comedian Bill Bellamy. I think he was How to Be a Player.
Yep.
He is hilarious in this film, man. He is hilarious.
Okay.
He's the funny guy out of the group of friends.
Okay. Yeah, got you. So like not that Any Given Sunday.
Yeah.
Not that Any Given Sunday Bill Bellamy. Oh yeah, gotcha.
I think he is there.
Yeah, he is. He is.
He's in there, eh?
Yeah. Yeah, he is.
Yeah. So he's in there, and he's kind of like the he's like the funny dude. But when Lorenz Tate's just like, he can't make up his mind, and he's giving Nia Long the runaround. Bill Bellamy, he sort of steps in, and it kind of like makes things worse.
Yep.
And then blah blah blah, and then it's one of those break up to make up sort of things. But
okay, yeah,
but yeah, I think it's just a good solid movie. It's a good movie. I liked it because of because a lot of things that are in this movie. The music, like, especially there's a scene when they go on a date and they say, "Oh, shall we go out for a dance?" And they go to this reggae bar, and it's just live reggae band, and the music's just awesome, man. Like, yeah, it's that kind of stuff. There's a lot of culture in this film, right?
Oh, okay, got you. Yeah,
there's a lot of culture in this film.
I like it.
The culture's the backdrop on this this love story, right?
Yeah.
Especially the music. It's a good movie. It's a good movie.
Yeah, I like how you say like the backdrop. The backdrop plays an important part. Like, I think when you say, so when you said about you mentioned, like, they're like, oh, let's go dancing, let's go to a reggae bar, and you go to the reggae bar, it's live music stuff, right?
Yeah.
It instantly like brought back my mind to, do you remember Luke Cage? The Luke Cage guy? No, as in like the Netflix series Luke Cage.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch?
Man.
Yeah.
Yep.
So in Luke Cage, a lot of that there was a lot of because it's based in New York and Brooklyn, like a lot of those it featured a lot of artists that came from the area. Like the Wu-Tang. When was the last time you heard the Wu-Tang like being played being played in the background of a TV series?
Yeah.
But more to the point, when in the second season of Luke Cage, when the Jamaicans take over the bar and they start bringing in like Steve Marley and stuff, and it's just like the vibe just changes and all around them, and like all of a sudden Little Jamaica becomes this massive place, and it's just how you were saying about like the backdrop is really important to a movie. That there being able to reflect what's happening around your main characters is just as important as the main characters themselves, because it shows you, it gives you, like, I guess it almost envelops you into the story as well. It gets you really,
right.
You're injected right into the middle.
I wish I was there.
Yeah,
like, I wish we had that stuff here, so I can enjoy all the stuff that these guys are enjoying. You know, and it's not like, because it's a simple story, right? A boy meets girl. The boys got a bunch of mates. They meet every weekend. But it's not like they're going partying hard out. Their get-togethers are like real, sort of, like they're all dressed up. They might be in someone's lounge at their house, just having conversations, having a good time.
Right.
And next minute they're in someone's lounge doing that. They're just sitting around talking, having a drink, and
Just
and cracking
enjoying
up,
each other's company, kind of
joining
thing, right?
each other's company, and then they might be at a bar and it's like dark and there's lights and they're just talking, they're having conversations. You
Oh, that's
know, it's
cool.
like it's cool, man. It's like it's sort of like civilized. Nah, not civilized. It's cool. It's really culture there.
Yeah,
It's not your norm. It's not
yeah.
like a rowdy party or anything. It's just like what you
Actually,
do.
this
It's like what you would do.
it sounds
On
like
a,
middle age.
yeah, but yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. It's all about the backdrop in this film because
That's
you can
awesome.
have that same story for anything, but
Yeah,
if you don't have the character of this film and it is the backdrop,
yeah.
the it's very cultured in that way.
Nice, nice,
Hmm.
nice. Okay, cool. I am going to jump into sports.
Right.
I'm a bit conflicted again because I've got a few that I sort of want to bring up, but I think this is a real niche one. I didn't know if I was going to use this as my hidden gem or not, but I'm going to chuck it into sports because I've got another hidden gem. So the year is 1996. This is based in a. This is if it features the likes of. Hold on. If you could features the likes of Rhea Perlman. So Rhea Perlman, if you don't know who she is
Stand the video's Wi-Fi.
I have no idea. But Rhea Perlman is last time I'd seen her was in Cheers. Right? So she is one of the main characters in this movie. It also features Terrence Howard, Fredro Starr from Onyx. It is a high school movie about a basketball team. And this movie is called Sunset Park. So Sunset Park is a movie about a team about a sports team called about a sports team from a high school called Sunset Park. Now it's all like you're talking about it being about the backdrop being very, very important here. This is based in New York City. So, and this is mid '90s. So we're talking baggy jeans, we're talking Timbs, we're talking like your jeans halfway down your ass. We're talking about like the big puffer jackets. That real rugged. That real rugged
New York in winter.
New York in winter. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. So, and it just follows this team as their coach gets fired, so the high school can't afford to get in a new coach, so they just get the PE teacher. They just chuck the PE teacher in there. Doesn't know a thing about basketball, right? But what she does know is that she just it's one of those stories where she discovers all the different characters, all the main characters in her basketball team, discovers all of their talents and stuff, and makes them work together as one. So, interesting thing here is that Terrence Howard plays a character who is non-charismatic. Actually, he is the complete opposite. So they call him in this movie. They call him Spaceman. His name is Spaceman. Why? Because he is absolutely high 100% of the time.
Well, now all he was then.
I have no idea, but it's 1996. I mean, the man couldn't have been man must have been in his mid-20s.
Yeah.
Or early 20s, at least.
Yeah.
Because, like, if you think about Terrence Howard now and this back then, two completely different people. Like, Terrence Howard that I first came across was the Terrence Howard from Hustle and Flow, Iron Man, and every other movie after that. In those movies, he's slick. He's especially like Hustle and Flow. You've seen that. You see how how cultured he is and how well he's able to articulate himself, as a rapper, but more so as a pimp, In this movie, it's all about he plays this guy who is just high 100% of the time. That's why they call him Spaceman, because his head's always up in space. And he's not even the main character, but it turns out that they need him because he's like this he's like this center that just goes hard in the paint. He's always going hard in the paint, but he just can't throw a free throw to save himself, which cracks me up. Now, one of my favorite parts of the movie is because is when they're in the back of they're all on the bus, and you just see I don't know if you can see this on your screen, but you just see him like lean back in his chair, and he just slowly disappears behind the bus seat. You just see like smoke. He's trying to smoke some weed like on the bus. Like, what the? Of all people, kind of thing. But the real star here is Fredro Starr. He's like that charismatic leader that doesn't want to be a leader. So it was all about his. So the story is all about all these different, all these intertwining stories, but especially Fredro Starr being like the main character. So he's sort of like a, how do I put it? He's like a rough New York. He's a typical rough New Yorkan, rough around the edges, straight up, tell you how it is, and like bad as I want to be kind of thing. And he plays it really, really well. And this teacher, all she wants to do is just like try and harness that and get him to really take ownership of the team. And it's just like some real, like, it's real. Well, what I really liked about the story was just all the rich characters that came through. So one of them is this guy they call Butter, and the Butter because he's what is it? He's failing off the Butter because he's so smooth with it, but he's also smooth with the ladies. That's why they call him Butter. So one of his catchphrases is like, "Oh, just like butter, baby," kind of thing. And funnily enough, I used to use that a lot, which I cringe about now. But oh man, I used to think that was so cool. But what I liked about it, one of the other things I liked about it was just like you were saying about when we go back to the whole backdrop, it shows that whole like a kid getting shot, a kid getting robbed for his jacket. It shows what happens when you or was it? It shows like the kids that like that when basketball stops, basketball stops at the gate and life begins afterwards, right? Their whole like, oh, actually, I still live in the projects. Actually, I still have to go to work after this. Actually, I don't have anywhere to sleep. No, I don't live anywhere. And what this teacher does is that she helps them like overcome their issues, or not so much overcome the issues, but really address them. So for Spaceman, all she does, she just turns around, she goes, "Look, if I look in your eyes and I believe that you are not here, I'm kicking off this team straight away." So he straightened himself up. And like this one time he comes to school and he goes, "Oh, miss, I've got to tell you something. What is it? I brought a knife to school because I want to kill my science teacher." And it's this giant ass like Bowie knife, He's like, "Oh my God, come to my office," drags him in the office. "Why do you want to kill your science teacher?" "Because he makes me feel stupid." "Have you told him this?" "No, because I want to kill him." He goes, "But," he's like, and like they go through the conversation. He's like, "But, miss, science is my favorite subject. I just hate my teacher." Like, once they get to the bottom, she's like, "Look, put the knife in here. I will go get your science teacher." She sorts that out, and all of a sudden gets him back on the path. And there's like heaps of stories like that. It's like really, really rich, and those kinds of things, and those kinds of stories that come through. There's little, like sort of like Coach Carter before Coach Carter, if that makes sense. Oh no, has my headset gone? Oh no, you're on mute.
A lot of basketball movies came out around about those times, eh? Like you get Coach Carter, like you said, Sunset Park, Love and Basketball.
Love and basketball.
Man, a lot of basketball films came out there.
And like again, like even the soundtrack. So I was like looking at the soundtrack, and one of the things that came to mind was this one track by who was it? There's one track that came out like it's a sample of Liberian Girl.
Oh right.
Keep on keeping on. That's the name. It's
yeah.
MC Light and Escape.
MC Light,
Yeah.
That's
great
right.
song.
Sunset Park, another great soundtrack.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like that. It's like Quad City DJs and 69 Boys. In your face, in your face.
Yeah.
It's like a great So again, it's one of those really like real rich in terms of like the way that they're able to paint the backdrop and like and really really inject you into it and into the movie by enveloping you in this rich backdrop of New York, but also relatable stories. So I can imagine like a lot of relatable stories would come out of that. The brainiac that's just like so brainy that he's failing off the team because he's just bored. There's also the athlete that's just too pretty to be able to go to class. There's the kid that got shot and robbed, but he still came back afterwards. And how they all like how they all rally around him, kind of thing, as a team. And there's lots of stories like that. So it's real cool.
Do you reckon this movie parallels or similar to? Because you know how all these storylines can relate to previous films,
right?
Kind of thing. the Bad News Bears comes to mind when it comes to kids sports teams and the coach that doesn't want to be there but needs to coach them.
Yeah, totally.
And
totally.
the different characters in the team have different attributes. Like you get the nerd one, you get the brainy one, you get the tough one.
Yeah.
So like the Snoop Dogg movie, the new one, the Underdogs.
Haven't seen that.
Underdogs is the modern version of the Bad News Bears.
Right.
Hmm.
It's like the Mighty Ducks. The Mighty Ducks.
Yeah. That
like
kind of storyline there.
Yeah, totally.
Mm.
And then the whole, the twist at the end. Oh, guys, I'm not leaving. I'll be back next year, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh, really? True. Oh, stink. Hoping for a different coach next year. But yeah, so for my sports movie, it was a bit of a niche. I wouldn't be surprised if our listeners or anybody that watches this hasn't heard of it. Wouldn't be surprised. Came across it on Sky, and I just loved it. Loved it from beginning to end. So yeah,
it's a movie I saw once in my life. And it was, I remember it being one of many basketball movies coming out, Coach Carter and etc. So when I think back, I wouldn't tell which one was Coach Carter, which one was Sunset Park, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, because they always came out at the same time and sort of. Yeah. I have to watch it again to differentiate it with all the other things in my memory.
If anything, it'd be the clothing and the music. That'll be the big thing. But yeah, you're right. And the fact that Coach Carter is black and male, and the coach from Sunset Park isn't.
Yeah, she is Danny DeVito's wife.
Oh, true. Okay. Oh, good to know.
That was your sports one. Okay, that's my last one then, I think.
Yeah.
On to my last one.
Have you done comedy? Is it comedy your last one?
Oh, I haven't done Hood.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I'll leave the bin to last.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Okay,
leave the bin to last.
Okay, my Hood. So I actually had Boys in the Hood as my second one because I knew you were gonna.
This guy,
you might pick it.
Not the hindsight ones.
But I do put this as my first if I was going to, because I remember when this movie came out, I remember thinking this is better than Boys in the Hood.
Oh, this guy. Go on, talk your shit. Go on.
And because at that time I was young and I just liked watching violence, that was the only thing. So this is like a more violent, more bloodier version of Boys in the Hood.
Oh yeah.
Not a lot of messages going on in this one. Not a lot of messages. I think the only message is, hey man, if you do this shit, you're gonna die. That's the only message. But yeah, this movie came out in 1993.
Ooh.
It's got Lorenz Tate in it. I think you know what it is.
Yeah.
Menace to Society.
Menace to Society. Yeah.
Yeah, directed by those brothers. What are they? What are the brothers?
Pass.
The Hughes brothers.
Hughes.
So the Hughes brothers, they did Dead Presidents.
Oh, okay, yeah, makes sense. That's the same style. I got you.
And then I think the last movie I saw them make was that Jack the Ripper movie with Johnny Depp.
Jack the Ripper.
Yeah, starring Johnny Depp. He was the cop.
Oh, okay. No,
I forgot what the movie was. But anyway, yeah, Menace to Society. Okay. That scene, man, the beginning scene. Sorry about your mother. What you say about my mother?
Sorry for your mother.
Shoots at me, and then shows the videotape to all his mates and all that. They like, wow.
Yeah.
That's brutal. Way it's brutal. But
man. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah. So, man, I remember vividly thinking, man, this movie's better than Boys in the Hood. I remember saying that straight after that scene, the shopkeeper scene. And man, it's just O-Dog. Hey, he was like, to me, he was like, man, this is the badass motherfucker. Like, no one can touch this guy, because he doesn't even die at the end either. He survives.
No.
So, man, and there's no like credits in the end saying, oh, O-Dog, 2 weeks later, O-Dog gets killed. None of that. Like, So I don't know what they're trying to say. But yeah, man, just at that time, I remember the 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 hype of Boys in the Hood.
Yeah,
This was like a follow up to that, and it just
I
ramped
think
it up
so.
even more.
Yeah.
Like how we idolize these kind of films, Like
Mm.
then we talk about like Compton, and we think we know about Long Beach and Crenshaw and all these kind of places, and we idolize these places, And we listen to gangster music and Death Row and all that, and we start talking, the language and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. I think MC8's in this movie too, Lorenz Tate, and
Oh.
the main actor, he's like an unknown guy. He didn't really pop off after this film, but he was the main guy. Jada Pinkett's in it. She
Yep.
plays the love interest.
Yep.
But the Hughes brothers, they're into those violent scenes, and they always shoot it very graphically, and you see that in Dead Presidents too. But yeah, man, I think this the hood movies to beat all hood movies, when it comes to trying to be raw, but kind of exaggerated a little bit.
I think so.
There's the beginning with the flashback scene with Samuel L. Jackson,
Yeah,
who plays the dad who kills the guy in his house.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just over the top, kind of over the top, but we get the point. We get the message.
Is it though? I guess this is like because I mean, the thing with those types of movies is that surely there's an element of truth to what you see, like especially in those period pieces, like and those period pieces like Boys in the Hood and Menace to Society. That surely somebody like it may not be my lived-in experience because I wouldn't know anybody close enough to be even an ounce of what O-Dog is, but maybe over there in the real Crenshaw and the real
there is an O-Dog somewhere.
Parts, yeah, there's an O-Dog that somebody knows of, and I'm pretty sure patrons that were going were like, oh yeah, that's Jim. Yeah, that's Jim back in Long Beach. Yeah, I know a guy like that. Like one of the scenes that comes to mind, and I used to joke around about it a lot until I actually saw the scene. Because I haven't actually seen Menace to Society. I've seen probably the beginning, and that's about it. But there's a scene I used to joke around a lot where it was like, "Oh, I got cheeseburgers," and I used to say that everywhere. And when I say that, a lot of people are like, "Oh, think that I'm referring to The Longest Yard."
Right.
Cheeseburger. And he's like, oh, I just got cheeseburgers, man. I just got cheeseburgers. But actually, I'm referring to Menace to Society where little druggie comes up. Yo, man, I got cheeseburgers, man. I got cheeseburgers. And you know what happens after that. So we won't get into that. But
he says something else, and the dog is offended and shoots him.
Very offended and shoots him, crackhead, and just in cold blood. Yeah, exactly. It's the same exact reaction he had to the shopkeeper, the Chinese shopkeeper. Same thing. What you say to me, nigga? And then afterwards, like it was nothing, he just shot this dude dead, and he picks up the cheeseburgers. Hey, yo, anybody want some cheeseburgers?
Yeah.
What the? So I had only heard about that scene for a very long time. Like when I was like in in high school, I heard about it. I was like, and I just held on to that. I just kept on saying, "Oh, I just got cheeseburgers," until I actually watched it. And this was recent, as in like last year. Watched it, and I was like, "Holy cow, this is actually pretty graphic. That's crazy." So yeah, it's. I'll go back to what I say. Like, we may not necessarily know an O-Dog, like a person like that, like O-Dog, but I'm pretty sure there's people out there that do, Pretty sure there are people like that out there. So there's, like I was saying, there's probably an element of truth to these kinds of things.
Yeah, it's interesting because when we set up a category called Hood. So Hood equals gangster movie. To me, when it's Hood, for some reason I always think of LA. And those movies, Boys in the Hood and Menace to Society, has been the top of the list.
It's the top echelon, right?
Yeah, these movies. But then, Hood means every neighborhood. So why can't it be New York? Why can't it be it's Juice, say? Why can't it be Brooklyn?
Right.
Or yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's like
movies too. Like
there's like
Fresh.
Baby Boy.
You mentioned Fresh before, Baby Boy.
Yeah.
Baby Boy's in LA as well. I think the John Singleton trilogy, So it's Boys in the Hood, Baby Boy, and there's a third one.
The only other one I could think of is like that's
No, Poetic Justice. Poetic Justice is the second one, and then
bro,
Baby Boy is the third one.
Yeah. Poetic Justice. Oh, mate, Poetic Justice, cousin. we ain't no Johnsons, but we black. We all family. Yeah, man.
So, I think John Singleton's the originator of the hood movies.
Oh yeah, totally. I think so. Well, it's a great form. I think if we talk about that just for a second, like I think that form, the format that John Singleton shows is more of a, I guess if I had to put it somewhere, it'd be like almost true to life version of what actually goes, what that actually looks like, as opposed to like a Friday where it's quite hammed up, or even like next Friday where it's even worse. Where it's quite, where yes, there more than likely is the hot older lady neighbor that everybody has all the kids in the neighborhood have a crush on. There's always the old man that's the angry old man and the bully. But like the way that they present it in Friday is that it's quite hammed up and it's quite it's made to be quite for comedy, I guess is the word.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Cool. Okay.
But yeah, that's mine.
All right, cool. Last one before the bin. Hidden gem. So again, I'm quite like for me, this may not be a hidden gem for you, but it is for me. It's one that it's a movie that I've probably I came across when I was probably like 16, 17. It was released in 1996. It features Samuel L. Jackson, Jamie Foxx. Golly, it was like so many people. So Samuel L. Jackson, Jamie Foxx, Damon Wayans, Jeff Goldblum. The list goes on. What is the movie I'm talking about? I'm talking about the world of boxing promotions, and no movie does it better than this. And it's the movie The Great White Hype. Great movie, great. For me, there's my hidden gem because it's one of those movies that I could just keep watching over and over again and cannot get sick of, because it's just the way that they portray the world of boxing promotions in this movie. Outrageous. Out freaking rageous. So from the very beginning, you have Damon Wayans, who is this this charismatic fighter. He's won all his fights. He's knocked people out. Blah 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 blah. Or he's untouchable. And then what happens when you become when you become that guy that just keeps on winning? Nobody wants to come to your fight because they know what's going to happen. Nobody wants to fight you anymore because they don't want to risk their careers getting knocked out. There's the one person. So what do? They manufacture somebody to come through to take it. So just like Alex Pereira was brought into the UFC to take out for one reason only, to take out Israel Adesanya, they brought somebody who had beaten James Roper, Damon Wayans' character, as an amateur, the only person ever to beat him as an amateur. Brought him through, did heaps of dodgy stuff with all the different boxing organizations to get him in without a fight and become the number one contender. At the same time, you have Marvin Shabazz, who's the actual number one contender, who keeps fighting to get whose promoter, Jamie Foxx, fights every day, fights all the time at every press conference that he can. So he's almost like how do I put it? He's like the Shannon Briggs, it just turns up anywhere and just starts a fight kind of thing. And it cracks me up because in the world of boxing promotions, they were like, oh, he's white. Of course he has to be white because people are getting sick of niggers fighting niggers. Excuse the language. Anyway, that's what they said in the movie. Yeah. So what do? They take him. He's Irish, but I'm not Irish. You're Irish because it makes you sound white. What makes me laugh is that they do all these. The promoters know exactly what they're doing. So Samuel L. Jackson, man, I love Samuel L. Jackson, especially in this movie because his character is Sultan, and he's like Don King pretty much, right? Real big, flashy, blah, blah, blah. So charismatic, does not care. If you does not care. and he thinks everything can be bought at the price. Anything's possible. Just name your price. So, and he can manipulate people with the best of it. He manipulates everybody from his boxers to his staff to everybody around him, to get what he needs to get to stay at the top. And what I like about this movie is the fact that even at the end of all of that, they marketed that like, oh no, this isn't a race thing. This is just a person that we think can beat James Roper. You can't play a piano, or you can't play a piano without the black keys. All the white keys have to be played together. It was that kind of market spin. But even after all of that, and they market him to be this great fighter, and people are coming in their flocks and their droves to watch this guy give it to James Roper. The clean cut white boy. You see like people coming to place their bets. Old ladies like giving their money. I'd like to place some money on the clean cut white boy to kick that man's ass. At the end of all of that, the white guy still loses. And it's one of those movies. Is like it really like points out, I guess it hams up like where boxing promotions in that period of time. So like it really, so even like Sultan, like Samuel L. Jackson, he's so good that even his biggest hater he ends up employing. So there's this guy that there's like a reporter that comes through. That's Jeff Goldblum. This reporter that's like trying to film this expose, and then he's like he's got all this like all this like damning evidence against him, blah 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 blah. And then he actually gets invited to an interview with Sultan. He walks in, he comes back out, and now he's Sultan's marketing guy. He's that good. He's like, I like what you do. I'd like to offer you a job. So, all in all, off the back of that, again, great. It's a great soundtrack, and it's one of those ones where, like, or is it like even like what's his name? Even Damon Wayans' entrance song, he has the Method Man singing "Bring the Pain" or rapping "Bring the Pain." Like following him into the going before
I think I remember this. Yeah,
into the ring, right? And that's mean, bro. Come on now, and like it really, I think songs like that, like really like capture the essence of like what that fight is about. It's like, I'm about to whip your ass. There's no ifs, buts, or ways about it. I'm gonna kick your ass, kind of thing. And it's just oh man. Well, one of my favorite quotes from it is Damon Wayans. He's like gained all this weight because he's like, oh man, I was like, this guy's a pushover. So he gains all this weight. He's like really he's out of shape, and he's smoking cigarettes during training and stuff. And he's like sitting in the sauna, and some trainer comes up to him. He's like, come on, man, what are you gonna do? It's like you're out of shape. What was it? You haven't trained in weeks. What's the plan? Like then Wayne's laying there, he's like, my blackness will beat him. Like, oh, bro. But yeah, so for me, that's a hidden gem because I don't remember seeing it like being advertised at the movies or even as a video, like at the video stores or anything. That's the one thing that blew my mind. So yeah,
I think it's straight to video film, man. Is it? I don't know.
Yeah. Fuck,
I remember
cool.
the soundtrack. I remember. I seen the movie, but only once. I can't remember it.
Right.
So listening to you, like, I gotta watch it again.
Yeah.
But I remember the scene with Method Man.
Yeah.
Scene
walks in the ring. Mm. Oh man, yeah, the best. So that was that really like drew me. That was sort of like the draw card that brought me in. It's like, is that Method Man? What's the song he's singing? Damn, I haven't heard that song before. Sure enough, you go find it. Yeah.
Grandma Hype was directed by Reginald Hadlin. He did Boomerang and House Party.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
And after that, he did The Ladies Man. Serving Sarah, Marshall, Black Godfather, Safety Sydney, and Candy Cane Lane.
Okay, yeah. Candy Cane Lane I've seen.
He also produced Django Unchained.
True. Producer.
Yeah. He does some TV too as well. He directed the Bernie Mac show.
Bernie Mac. Far out. Did you know that guy was in Above the Rim? Did you recognize that guy?
Yeah, he was the homeless guy.
Yeah. Damn, Bernie Mac. Oh well, that leaves us down to our. So that was my little hidden gem. Notable mentions in the hidden gem. I should have done this for the other ones. Was the Golden Child,
Right. Yep.
and the Hurricane. It's a Denzel Washington movie about that one about the boxer that got
wrongfully jailed. Wrongfully
wrongfully jailed. That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah, I had some number twos, eh? So comedy, I had Friday for comedy.
Oh, yep.
I had 2 and 3. I had Cool Runnings and He Got Game for sports.
Oh.
I had Boys in the Hood for Hood, my second one. True story. I had Glory.
Oh, okay.
That's the in the old school Scott Denzel and Morgan Freeman.
Yep.
And Patrick. What's the name? Broderick. Matthew Broderick. Yeah.
Matthew Broderick. Yeah.
Documentary. I had the Fab Five. That was my that would have been my number one too. Have you seen that one? The Fab Five?
No, I haven't. I've heard of it though. I've heard of
the Fab Five is there?
Yeah.
Shannon Rose and Chris Webber. And two that didn't make the NBA. Something King and
I had one of the docos I had was Malice at the Palace.
Right.
Yeah.
The fight at the at the Pistons, eh?
Yeah, the Pistons game.
Indiana and Pistons.
Right. Yeah.
At the Palace, eh? Yeah, the Palace.
Yeah.
The thing I remember about the Fab Five documentary was when they changed their shorts. They're the first ones to wear baggy shorts.
Oh, okay.
And they got in trouble because they're like, why are you wearing like, you guys are like hip hop or something?
Yeah.
Like, why are you wearing baggy shorts for? Like, they started the trend.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Because then you see that that's when the VCs started coming through.
Yeah.
Yeah. True that. Yeah, one of my sports ones. Any Given Sunday.
Right.
I thought that wasn't black enough. I feel like that wasn't black enough.
Hello, Cool J.
But who's it surrounding? Is it about the quarterback or is it about the coach? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was Al Pacino.
Al Pacino.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, maybe not. And a bit left field, but Drumline.
Oh yeah, I never saw that.
You never seen it?
No.
Yeah. If anything, watch it for the just watch it for the drumming. Amazing. Just the way that they portray like the drum lines and stuff of in like college and college football and stuff. It's cool stuff. It's cool stuff. It's real cool stuff to watch. The other one's comedy. I'd like White Men Can't Jump, obviously. Coming to America.
Yeah.
And just a little more recent was White Chicks. So.
Yeah. Yeah, Coming to America would have been up there.
Yeah.
For me and comedy.
Oh, totally. Yeah, man,
okay, man, what would you be throwing in the bin, man?
Oh, man. Yeah, okay. Probably an unpopular one, but House Party. All of them.
Really?
Yeah.
I wouldn't put part 1 in there. I'll put part 2 and 3.
Maybe not part 1, but part 2 and 3, and whatever came after that, just absolute trash.
Yeah.
It's like there was no need for like I can see what they're trying to do. It's like no.
I agree. With part 2 and part 1's a classic. First time saw these dance moves and do the Running Man and go do it at the school social.
Yeah. That's it. So yeah, House Party.
House Party. House Party is a classic, but 2 and 3, I'll throw those away.
Yeah, I'll throw it in the bin. Another one that's probably unpopular is How to Be a Player, Bill Bellamy.
Right.
Yeah. Not the one, man. It's a bit too over the top. It's like there's being a ladies' man, and then there's just being an asshole, and that's pretty much what he is. It's just an asshole. So come on, man. No,
he's difference. Like the same character in Love Jones.
Oh, true. So he's a real womanizer.
He's like a wannabe.
Okay. Wannabe. Yeah, okay, got you. And my last one, real unpopular, and I'm sort of thinking about it now, and being a lot older, and being a lot older, I can say this wholeheartedly, but where Rush Hour was a mix of East and West and was done really, really well, where it's done really, really poorly, and I hate to say this because it has some of my favorite actors and musicians in it, but Romeo Must Die. Romeo Must Die. Jet Li, outstanding martial artist. Alia, great. DMX, not so great. Not so great. I love DMX. I love his.
He was good in Belly.
Yeah, he was, but it doesn't translate. It's like that whole gets introduced into the club, like he fires off like an M16. He's like, guns don't kill people, people kill people. Like, what are you trying to say? It's like, what does that even mean? But then the whole story, and it just didn't. I get, it was cool what they did with the whole the X-ray, how they cut to X-ray and show the bones breaking and stuff. That was cool, but like, for what? Like the whole story in itself was quite broken up. I don't know. I was not a fan of it. So I reckon the reason why it was so successful in the beginning is because it was Jet Li, Ali, and DMX. But
the name recognition.
Yeah, pretty much. And it was just like they were going off brand alone just to get them over the line. Don't get me wrong, soundtrack was freaking amazing. I bought that too. Freaking amazing soundtrack. Alia DMX back at one or back home. Was it that alone holds that soundtrack together? But the movie itself, sorry man, has to go on the bin. Has to go on the bin. Yeah, man. How about you?
Well, I got two. I've got two.
Okay.
My first one, I told you before. I was looking for what deserves to go in the bin, and I was looking for a particular movie, right?
Right. Okay.
And during my search, I saw another one that I thought should be in the bin as well. So I picked that one.
Okay. Instead.
So
okay.
It's the sequel to Coming to America.
Bro.
I mean, waste of time. Don't even bother. It's like, oh, what the fuck's going on?
Bro, I gave up after 5 minutes. I was that disappointed. For
a classic movie, you gotta ruin it with the sequel. Okay. A lot of sequels ruin the first movie, but this one just takes the cake.
This one was like 30, what was it, almost 40 years later?
Oh, man.
Oh, mate. Oh, no, you're right.
Just the production value alone was low budget.
Oh, absolutely.
Think of the shots at the palace in the first movie.
Yeah.
And then look at the palace in the second one. What happened? It's just
absolutely.
Reduced to one room.
It's like,
it got reduced to one room.
Wall Street. the global financial crisis. It's real, man. It would have hit Zamunda too. No, but you're right. You're absolutely right. I was sadly disappointed just watching it and thinking this is a really cool idea, but you're like the execution is just rubbish. And I think that this is another one of those like go and poo poo over and over, like try and that whole like nostalgia tour that they try and take you on. I mean, all those old guys should be dead.
Yeah,
they're at least 100. It's like, damn, come on, man.
And I know James Earl Jones was coming towards the end of his life by the time they made this movie.
Yeah,
and makes sense to get paid again. But
no, 100% agree with you.
Stink movie.
Yeah.
My second one is actually a movie that I saw when I was a kid.
Yep.
And if you told me what happened, I wouldn't even know what to tell you. Because all I remember was how stupid it was. And I remember two scenes. The part when he absorbs the thing to get his powers. And when he shows up at the end to stop, I don't know, something happens in the neighborhood where there's like, I don't know, there's like a riot, he stops. But anyway, it's came out in 1993. It's called The Medium Man.
Oh, I was just thinking of that too. Medium Man, yeah.
Robert Townsend.
Yeah. Absolute trash. It's like
it's got star the cast. Bill Cosby in there.
Yeah.
James Earl Jones, Luther Vandross in there. Tony by Nature's in there. Cypress Hill, Big Daddy King.
Were they trying to like create like a black superhero doing this? Is that what they were trying to do here?
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah. Jefferson Reed.
That reminds me of another one. Now that I think about it now, Blank Man.
That's Damon Wayans, eh?
Damon Wayans, yeah. Where he creates this. He's like this nerd who creates like a super, like a formula that goes into his clothes and it makes him invulnerable. And stuff. This is like, and he's so like a black superhero. It's like, 25%
from Rotten Tomatoes. medium.
25%.
Yeah.
That's the 25% well deserved. Far out. Bloody hell, man! That was fun.
Whew. That's it, man. We've done
Yeah.
our categories.
All right.
Yeah, we've done it. So just a quick breakdown. I'll just list my my movies.
Yep.
So comedy, I picked Boomerang. Sports, I picked Above the Rim.
Yep.
Hood Gangster, I picked Menace to Society. Drama, Mo Better Blues. True Story, Malcolm X. Documentary, OJ, Made in America. Hidden Gem, Love Jones. And Fern and the Rubbish Bin, Coming to America, and The Medium Man.
And I chose for comedy. I chose Rush Hour. For gangster, Hood, Boys in the Hood. For sports, it was Sunset Park. True Story, Jackson's The American Dream. For drama, it was Higher Learning. Training Day was in there as well. Training Day was an honorable mention there, but I was just like, Higher Learning, because you got me with Malcolm X. I was like, I think I was trying to match you on that.
Yeah, okay.
Trying to match you on that. The Doco, When We Were Kings. The hidden gem for me was The Great White Hype. And in the bin was House Party 2 and 3, How to Be a Player, and Romeo Must Die.
Nice. Also.
Nice.
Damn, yeah, that was fun, man.
Yeah, it was. I like the whole, I mean, we definitely got to do that again sometime with other stuff, because that was fun.
Yeah, so I got other ideas. Like, we could do years. Like, we could do draft 1999.
Yeah.
We could draft 2010. We could draft 2015. I don't know. Any year.
I'd like to do one.
We have categories blockbuster category. Pick a blockbuster. So it's easy. There's a list of top 10 blockbusters that year. You just pick one of those.
Okay.
Action, horror, comedy genre. Yeah, we can pick. But it has to be released in that year.
Oh yeah, nice. I was thinking of like Ultimate Villain, eh?
Yeah,
like the Ultimate Villain. One. Yeah,
that's another good one.
I was like,
I think with that one we need maybe a third person.
I think so too.
Just try to get some double ups going on so we can scramble and pick our third choice. That would make things real interesting, eh?
Yeah, hard out. Damn it! I was interested to hear you say, "I had Boys in the Hood," but I knew you were going to pick it anyway. It's funny you say that because I don't. When you were saying Boys in the Hood and Menace to Society were the only two movies that you could think of off the top of your head, that was me too.
Yeah.
It was like, oh no, I gotta find something else. So that's why I wrote down Above the Rim instead. I was like, yeah, close enough. The drug dealer element, yeah, sure.
Sweet, that's us, man, from the episode. Right. Man, it's good. We'll definitely do it again.
Cool.
Stay tuned, everyone. Me and Eric still breaking down the Penguin TV series in between. Ooh. So we'll keep on watching every single episode and breaking it down every episode for the channel 1 through 5. And yeah, man, tune in next time. We'll bring you some more movie opinions.
All right, sounds good. All right. Thanks for having me on, bro.
Thanks, Zeus. Have a good night.
All right, catch up.